Anytime I feel like cry, but still my faith. Never make me lose my way, me pray. But as I start being off the east, spoke a face system business, cause all me see a crop in a barrel. John who know on enemies, them not gonna live to see the worst away. Just know say still, all me sacrifice not go so still. To them no know ya, know ya. They don't know my pain, the way me grow ya. For this, many times I feel like cry, but still my faith. Never make me lose my way, me pray. Born as I start queen of the east. Everybody have dreams, thoughts, some I believe fast. Temptations in distance, them with your energy, yo. The seat, yo. Third eye have to load up. Grow rough, you know it go. Now follow them with them ego. Jana hide my talent now. Oh, can you feel my pain? My pain. I'm days of work for this. Many times I feel like cry, but still my faith. My faith. Can you feel my pain? Nights and days of work for this. Many times I feel like cry, but still my faith. Never make me lose my way, my free. Burn as I start being of peace. Faith. Never lose my way.
Y-O-U-N-G-V-A-L-E. Nigga. Look. Hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, so we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. That is not a fun discussion. It ain't about no front, so nigga, fuck it. Ay. I get my cake, I feel great. She can tell that I'm paid. She shake her ass in my face. I can tell that it's fake. Now she's speaking about freaking, you know, trying to run some game. Saying if I trick, she treating, trying to play me like a lame. She say pay or pay her no mind. So I pay no mind, she let me bone. Now she hit my phone and I just hit decline. She trying to date, well she gotta wait. Cause I be on my grind, it's plenty cake that I gotta make. So I ain't got the time, look what it do is what I make it do. And you just making do. We heard it's a glass roof, so now my niggas breaking through. Look, we out here chasing money, trying to catch up to the loot. The money moves, so I ain't got no time to wait around on you. Hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, so we can't talk about that time. boss, well shit, I had to pay the price. With the way you see me living, you gon' think I paid it twice. What's that call a nigga Bow Wow? Cause I'm ballin' like Mike, but shit, I'm ballin' like a bitch. So you could call me what you like. Man, the shit you niggas do got me so confused. Y'all be tricking with these bitches, but that's not the way we move. Why you caking with your boo? I got paper to pursue. I hit the mall and buy it all until it ain't shit in there new. If being fly's the motive, you should notice that I flew. I ball fierce, I'm Paul Pierce. I tried to told you I'm the truth. I got clout without a doubt. I'm the best up in the booth. They say the proof is in the pudding. Well, look. Hold up, wait, hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait, hold up, wait, hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait, hold up, wait, hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, so we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. Nigga, that is not a fun discussion. It ain't about no fun, so nigga, fuck it. Hey. Oh, you ballin', well, that's what you call it, cause you bought a drop. Fuck you thinking, all this cash I'm bringing shit, I buy a watch. No we not, no we fucking not. We are not the same, I'm that dude. Look, I make the rules, you just play the game. For y'all boys to get the least, it's funny cause y'all do the most. I just killed the parking lot and then I pulled off in the ghost. Dog, I'm finding it hard not to boast. They get some bread and I'm getting a loaf. Man, I'm hiding in chimney smoke. Money as long as infinity go. Hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait, hold up, wait, hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait, hold up, wait, hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, so we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. That is not a fun discussion. It ain't about no fun, so nigga, fuck it.
Young nigga with a big pistol. Hey, young nigga with a big pistol. Huh? Okay. Yeah. Hey. Young nigga with a big pistol in a trap house with a bell on me. Selling pedigree, but ain't dog food. Got fish get under my nails, homie. Gotta move in silence, cause bitch niggas wanna tell on me. Niggas say he gon' try me, but somebody better tell her, homie. A young nigga with a big pistol. Young nigga with a big pill. I'm a young nigga with a big pill. Young nigga with a big pill. Somebody better tell her, homie.
At a young age, nigga making moves. Cousin showed me how to work a tool. Dude showed me how to cut the food. Doubled up with my profit too. Snake showed me how to jump over. Straight drop and lock it too. Bad bitches coming by the two. Won't be city fruit. Understand what this money do. Yo main man, he'll punish you. Smiling faces turn to dying faces. Bag chasing, yeah I do it daily. Wish I would let a nigga play me. On site, glizzy activated. Headshot, bullet penetrated. Fuck around, get deactivated. Curl dripping like he out the 80s. Trap banging line going crazy. Set say he just birthed the baby. Bag heavy, do nothing basic. Glock 30 don't come with safety. What that mean? Don't try to play me. Glock 30s don't come with safety. What that mean? Don't try to play me. 30.
Young nigga with a big pistol in a trap house with a bell on me. Selling pedigree, but ain't dog food. Got fish get under my nails, homie. Gotta move in silence, cause bitch niggas wanna tell on me. Niggas say he gon' try me, but somebody better tell her, homie. I'm a young nigga with a big pistol. Young nigga with a big pistol. I'm a young nigga with a big pistol. Young nigga with a big pistol. Somebody better tell her, homie. Niggas know how I'm rockin'. Play with me, I'ma pop that bitch. Young nigga, keep it silent. If you get caught up, don't never snitch. Callin' plays great, pop a bitch. I know your haters wanna stop this. Nah, but you can't come get your bitch. Ain't got time for that messy shit. I'm hustling hard, tryna get rich. Situation getting sticky. Can't let the feds come get me. So I move the pack so swiftly. In the street selling G units, got the grams going for 50. She treat the dick just like a stamp. All she wanna do is lick it. Money on my mind, it's all I'm trying to get. I can read between the lines, I know you kinda fit. Cute face, thick thighs, you my kinda chick. I can see the world is mine on my Scarface shit. Young nigga with a big pistol in the trap house with a bell on me. Selling pedigree, but ain't dog food. Got fish get under my nails, homie. Gotta move in silence, cause bitch niggas wanna tell on me. Niggas say he gon' try me, but somebody better tell her, homie. A young nigga with a big pistol. Yeah. Young nigga with a big pistol. Yeah. I'm a young nigga with a big pistol. Yeah. Young nigga with a big pistol. Somebody better tell her, homie.
Okay, so now we know.
Yo. Welcome, guys, to I Stand On That podcast. I'm here with Mr. G-Man Gary himself. My name here, Mr. Daily Insight, a.k.a. Lump. Go ahead and introduce yourself, G-Man. Let the people know who you are, who you represent, what you stand for, all that good stuff. Go ahead, sir.
Man, listen, you already know what it is. You done told the people what they need to know, right? G Money, CMB, we all we got. Cash Money Brothers, right? Listen, just don't put a bullet in my head on the roof, baby, and we always gonna be good.
Indeed. Listen, to all my people out there listening, if you're trying to listen, make sure you go to Spreaker, Google Podcast, or what's the other one? iHeart-Radio, guys, and just look for B-SideRadio group. All right? So tune in. Shout out to my brother. He listening in. He just texted me. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate the support, all that good stuff. But go ahead, G-Man. He got something for y'all right now, something special. And I'm going to let him just go ahead and do his thing right now. So take it away.
So listen, you already know last week I was hot, right? I was 38 hot, right? And listen, all them South Florida cats know what it means when I say I'm 38 hot. I was 38 hot because we never got our poetry off.
We didn't,
right?
That was on me. I was rushing trying to get out of here, but we
back. It ain't on anybody.
It's
back
not
on anybody.
We back now.
But what I will tell you this is everybody need a little culture in their life. And, last week we talked about Judas and the Black Messiah, right? We talked about the importance of that movie and the accurate depiction of which we're presenting how the federal government took apart an institution that was just trying to do good within its own community, right? We talked about the Nipsey Hussle Jay-Z track, what it feels like, and I'm gonna be real. What I wanted to do last week was share this piece that I wrote, kind of inspired by the inspiration of the soundtrack, the movie, of everything. And so I figured, listen, let's kick it off. I'm gonna share a little bit of my poetry, right? This is going to be a little brief segment, but I just want to give y'all a little bit of something that we should have gave y'all last week. And listen, I know that every diamond got to get cut. So as long as you cutting me to bring clarity and not to weaken me, I appreciate any criticism you can share. So this piece right here is called The Pain of Everyday Life. Nut, if you out there listening, bro, I need feedback, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, go in the chat. Hey, listen, if you locked in, on the actual, app itself, make sure you go to the chat. We locked in there as well. You can message us, reach out. We're working on the whole phone thing when y'all can call in. But listen, we're working this thing out though. But go ahead, Miss G, man.
And shout out to South Florida Sid, and shout out to all of the indie artists that we getting an opportunity to highlight and play for y'all in advance of us walking into this. So I just want to shout out everybody that got something to do with something, man. I like busy people. But anyways, let's keep it focused. So back to this. The pain of everyday life. That's what we call in this piece. We strut through our daily struggle. Meditate and give verbal thanks for our melanin. Gotta find something to belong to. For years we thought we couldn't let the world see the pain we were in. Serenaded by the violence outside our windows. Plagued by PTSD, racism, and a system designed to diminish our glow. New York, Missouri, Georgia, Chicago. So he tries to find peace when he looks into our eyes. The pain of everyday life is hidden in the blackness of our skin. A resurgent revolution. Let that shit begin. Nightly lullabies are filled with words spoken by people that hate you. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they all try to bait you, distract you. Smoke and mirrors, tactical diversion, divide and conquer insurgents, revolutions and revolutionaries emergent. I am a revolutionary. Assassinating our heroes, no one here for advisement, but I can't be scared despite all these William O'Neills out here. Everything great is on the other side of fear, praying for divine placement of an Akuaniri, and hopefully he finds peace when he looks into her eyes. He finds love when he looks and knows that they share the same melanin in their skin, because it symbolizes an undocumented understanding between them. She knows the world hates him. He knows the world refuses to appreciate or acknowledge her. I mean, them. The pain of everyday life is hidden in the blackness of our skin. A resurgent revolution? Let that shit begin. As a child, you lay your young head on your mother's thighs as you shed tears of realization and your heart cries. But as you grow and mature, as their intimidation and penis envy grows more and more, you can no longer lay your head on those melanin-rich thighs for comfort or shed tears of realization, because the child that grows inside can't know or hear that pain. So we sing and dance so the child's story is written to a different score. Truthfully, they should have lived to see more. And the informant should have taken those bullets. But instead of 92 shots fired against the innocent, give them 4 to the head. Because there's no room for cowards or traitors anymore. We must avenge Fred Hampton. I am a revolutionary. The pain of everyday life is hidden in the blackness of our skin. So a resurgent revolution? Let that shit begin.
Man, hey, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm trying to get on that level with G-Man right here, spitting that fire, out his mouth with that pen, with his thoughts. I always told G-Man he's about that life when it comes to that writing. And when it came to us doing this podcast, it made him, you say, you know what, I need to get more serious with, my thoughts, with my actions. And this is going to be another platform for him to do so. But I got to get back on it. He been telling me, say, Lump, I know you right, man. I know you've been writing. Now, is there some truth to that? Yeah, I write from time to time. I got a little yellow black book.
Stop playing with the people out here, bro.
Listen, I got a little yellow black book
with the people out there, bro.
That I dibbled and dabbled, and honestly, he gonna have me step my game up a little bit more and come to the forefront with this. So, but listen, so what we gonna do right now? We gonna take a little break here, pay some bills, as they call it, and then we're gonna come back with what are we talking about now? Is that the Meek Mill joint? That's
we gonna kick it off and talk about. Listen, we're not finna spend a whole lot of time on this, but listen, at the end of the day, we also got to acknowledge the fact that I ain't gonna hold you. I'm still extremely and listen. Excuse the informality of my language right now, but I'm still a little hurt by Kobe and Gianna and all of the other people on that helicopter crash that died. And so I think it's an honest conversation that we got to be willing to have about, listen, did Meek go too far with that one, right? Listen, cancel culture is growing right now in Black America, right? We love to cancel people. And so I just want to know, just from a perspective of young kings having conversations, did he go too far? If he did, what's the result of it? If he didn't, you know what I'm saying, then cool. But do we forgive him and move on? How do we move forward? Especially considering that the name of the song was "Don't Worry, R.I.P. Kobe," right? So we're gonna have that conversation. It's gonna be brief, but we're gonna have that conversation.
All right, yeah, we're gonna take a little break, guys, and come back and we're gonna have this discussion. So,
but I do want to say this, if you don't mind me saying this, Lump,
go ahead.
Right? If we're gonna go out on anything before you play that next track, I just want to let y'all know a resurgent revolution. Let that shit begin, and I stand on that.
Hey, y'all heard what he said. Y'all know the name of the podcast. I stand on that, and we're gonna stand on a lot of different things. So, but let me go ahead, pay some bills, and come back with you with this topic. So I'm interested to get it started. So here we go now.
YOUNGVAL look. Hold up, wait. I said, hold up, wait. I said, hold up, wait. I said, hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa.
Hold on.
Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, and we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. That is not up for discussion. It ain't about no front, so nigga, fuck it. I get my cake, I feel great. She can tell that I'm paid. She shake her ass in my face. I can tell that it's fake. Now she's speaking about freaking, trying to run some game. Saying if I trick, she treating, trying to play me like a lame. She say pay or pay her no mind. So I pay no mind, she let me bone. Now she hit my phone and I just hit decline. She trying to date, well she gotta wait. Cause I be on my grind, it's plenty cake that I gotta make. So I ain't got the time, look what it do is what I make it do. And you just making do. We heard it's a glass roof, so now my niggas breaking through. Look, we out here chasing money, trying to catch up to the loot. The money moves, so I ain't got no time to wait around on you. Hold up, wait. I said, hold up, wait. I said, hold up, wait. I said, hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa.
Hold on.
Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, and we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. That is not up for discussion. It ain't about no front, so nigga, fuck it. I heard it cost to be the boss. Well, shit, I had to pay the price. With the way you see me living, you gon' think I paid it twice. What's that call a nigga Bow Wow? Cause I'm ballin' like Mike, but shit, I'm ballin' like a bitch. So you could call me what you like. Man, the shit you niggas do got me so confused. Y'all be tricking with these bitches, but that's not the way we move. While you caking with your boo, I got paper to pursue. I hit the mall and buy it all until it ain't shit in there new. If being fly's the motive, you should notice that I flew. I ball fierce, I'm Paul Pierce. I tried to told you I'm the truth. I got clout without a doubt. I'm the best up in the booth. They say the proof is in the pudding. Well, look. Hold up, wait. I said, hold up, wait. I said, hold up, wait. I said, hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa.
Hold on.
Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, and we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. That is not up for discussion. It ain't about no front, so nigga, fuck it. Oh, you ballin', well, that's what you call it, cause you bought a drop. Fuck you thinking, all this cash I'm bringing shit, I buy a watch. No, we not, no, we fucking not. We are not the same, I'm that dude. Look, I make the rules, you just play the game. For y'all boys to get the least, it's funny, cause y'all do the most. I just killed the parking lot, and then I pulled off in the ghost. Dog, I'm finding it hard out the boats. They get some bread and I'm getting a loaf. Man, I'm hiding in chimney smoke. Money as long as infinity go. Hold up, wait. I said, hold up, wait. I said, hold up, wait. I said, hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa.
Hold on.
Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, and we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. That is not up for discussion. It ain't about no front, so nigga, fuck it.
Yo. Listen up, folks. We are back from our little break right now. I was just on live talking to a few folks right now. But we're going to get into this whole Meek Mill conversation. What do you guys think about it? Was he wrong for it? Personally, I do have my opinion, to be honest. But I want G-Man to go ahead and give his thoughts and opinions on it first before I chime in on that. So G-Man, man, I'm gonna let you take it away. Please give me your insight on what you thought about it. If you want to read us the actual verses or whatever you may call it, please do so. So let the people know. If you have not heard the song, please go listen to the song. Let us know your thoughts on it. So G-Man, talk to me.
All right, so listen. So here's where we are, right? Just from a moderation standpoint, and listen, I'm gonna set you up with the alley oop so you can slam dunk whatever you're trying to do. But here's where we are, right? Like on the humble tip, right? So we got blessed with a track on February 17th from
Lil Baby
and Meek Mill. Okay, And for those of y'all that don't know what we're talking about, there's an article out there on Hip Hop DX.
Hip Hop DX.
Meek Mill faces backlash over Kobe Bryant lyrics. So that's the topic. That's the article that we're talking about and we're referencing. Listen, Hip Hop DX, shoot us some cash or something, bro. We out here naming names. But listen, we got to give the people some insight. So listen, they dropped the track on Wednesday. And listen, right now there's a whole lot of backlash coming at Meek Mill because they felt like he disrespected the memory of Kobe, right? So you can go to any lyric website and look up the lyrics for "Don't Worry," R.I.P. Kobe. That's the name of the track with Lil Baby. And basically, here's what Meek said: "This bitch I'm fucking always tell me that she loved me, but she ain't never showed me. Yeah, and if I ever lack, I'm going out with my chopper. It'd be another Kobe. Shit, I could tell that they ain't never know me, because if they knew me, they would have never showed me." So, listen, a bunch of hip-hop fans, NBA fans, they blasting the Philly cat, right? And they coming at him, and they're like, yo, how dare you make reference to Kobe's death in the helicopter, right? Listen, cats are calling him a weirdo, a clown, saying he been a clown, right? But to say that about Kobe and a chopper, especially during Black History Month, you know somebody gonna bring up the Black History Month, right? Listen, you can't do nothing wrong in Black History Month.
Hey, and when you get your thing, this is what I'm gonna do. You gonna say your piece, right? But I got another situation where another rapper said something similar. Not to that, but it was about another person. He wasn't famous, but he was famous because of his death. Mm-hmm. But you already know I'm going with this one. But what's your 2 cents on it though? How do you feel? Do you think it was warranting all this negative heat that he's getting right now? Do you think it was warranted?
Listen, here, you're talking to one of the most political dudes.
We got it. We got you.
So
yes,
of course
sir.
I'm going to say, dude, you got to stay away from that. If you're going to mention Kobe, it got to be in the light of positivity, respect. Just because from the standpoint of what he has done, and I'm not talking about what he accomplished on the court, right?
Correct.
I'm talking about his contribution to Black America, to internationally the view that people have of Black Americans, right? Kobe helped round out a lot of that stuff, and even though it may have come as a result of initially his basketball talents,
correct,
he ended up going further. He became he made a movie which was award winning, right? He did a rap album. But listen, Kobe was out there trying to do some stuff. He was trying to do some stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to throw out there that Meek responded to some of the hate, right? And he was like, somebody promo a narrative and y'all follow it. Y'all internet antics cannot stop me. Shit like Zombieland or something. LOL. So, and then Meek continues on to say they paying to influence y'all now. It's
Correct.
almost like mind control. Wake up. So, here's what I'm going to say, right? Whether he was right or wrong, I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Who am I to judge? I'm not the cat to judge anybody else.
Correct.
Intent, listen, I got a half of a legal mind, right? So at the end of the day, I know that intent is the hardest thing to prove on any level. So I don't know what his intentions were. What I do know is that it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And sometimes you got to ask yourself, okay, if I'm offending this many people, maybe I just shouldn't have done it, right? And that's where I'm at. Like, dude, it wasn't a necessary line. It wasn't like it was this, dude, it wasn't a Jay-Z lyric. It wasn't a Pac lyric. It wasn't this lyric that was about to do something massive for him. Yeah. He could have filled that in with anything else, bro. Yeah. Like, you ain't have to reference Kobe and the chopper.
It could have been pull up from the 3 like Kobe. It could have been something like that. I don't think he would have got any heat whatsoever if he referenced something of that magnitude. Right. Let's be honest.
Right. And listen, the last time somebody referenced a basketball lyric and they were talking about a female, it was, you wasn't with me when we were shooting in the gym.
Correct. Boom.
Right? So if you're talking about canceling a female, because how she acting, there's a whole lot of ways you could have done that, bro.
Correct.
Like, be creative. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, that was original. He the first one to do it. It was original.
But listen, like you said, the whole intent was, it's hard to prove. But my whole thing is, on the flip side, maybe he wanted that. Maybe his intentions was to get more clicks and get his name out there. I don't know why. You know what I mean? So that's another angle.
That's lame, though.
It may be lame.
It's
may
lame. I mean,
very
it's
lame.
It happens every day.
But I'm trying to be analytical here and be like,
I feel you.
Maybe that was his intent. Maybe he wanted the conversation. Maybe he wanted, yo, Meek Mill on Black History. Maybe he wanted that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. But if you wanted me to answer the question, I don't think it was that serious, to be honest. You know what I mean? I really don't. And the reason being is he would just, all right, it was a cool little line for him to throw in there, chopper, boom. And just make it be known, you know what I mean, what it was. But I don't think it was lame. That's just my opinion.
It was thoughtless, though.
It very was. It truly was.
So
it was.
At the end of the day, we can agree this. And listen, you and I both know I lost my brother in 19.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I lost my brother in 19. We going on 2 years since he been gone.
Correct.
And if somebody put a lyric out there referencing my brother's death, old school version of your boy, I'm coming through, as he would say, with the chopper, right? But not in reference to Kobe. I'm coming through. Yeah. So I can say that people close to Kobe,
they feel some type of way.
You got to be mindful of the people that were close to Kobe that you could be offended.
Correct.
You know? And I stand on that, bro. So if we're going to go to a song, let's go.
No, hold on. I want to flip it. Remember I said I want to flip it. So, yeah. So I'm going to flip it. So what I'm going to do, my whole thing is, right, the whole Emmett Till situation, right? Y'all know what happened with Emmett Till, right? So the whole thing was Lil Wayne made a reference, and I think the reference was beat it up something, like Emmett Till. So with that whole reference, right? Is this similar to what Meek Mill did, or is it not similar?
Oh, well,
beat it like Emmett Till. We already know. I don't know.
That was a violation of epic proportions.
Oh, okay. I just want to throw that in there and just, hey, is it the same? Is it different?
I mean, listen, it's similar. It's similar, but it's still different though, right? Let me be very clear on that. It's similar, but it's still different. It's similar, but I guess the difference in it to me is that Emmett Till was a tragic moment in Black history, right? Emmett Till, the result of what they did to Emmett Till from a racial standpoint, and the impact that has on Black America, and the impact that it had on the civil rights movement as a whole, like that's a whole nother kind of a different tier.
Listen.
That's a different tier.
Listen, the only because the reason I brought that up is because, all right, Meek Mill threw himself in that category as
he's in the category though. Yes,
with actual Lil Wayne, because Lil Wayne is the person that threw this out there. So that's why I want to say, hey, all right, they're one of the two right now. They're two in the same, I should say.
They both violated on epic proportions.
All right,
ain't no question.
But I think Wayne's line was way more deeper than this whole Meek Mill situation. That's just my opinion on that.
Absolutely. There's no question, there's no doubt. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, my mom taught me a long time ago, man, you don't speak ill of the dead. You don't talk lightly about that.
Correct.
Right? Listen, people
it's a sensitive matter.
It's way too sensitive.
It's a sensitive matter. Correct.
Listen, and the controversy that comes with it should be expected.
Correct.
Right? So, Meek, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. You I'm not feeling that. That's a bar that you could have kept to yourself, bro.
Yeah.
That's a bar you could have kept to yourself, just on every level.
Yeah.
And in all respect to everybody that died in that chopper, right? All respect to the families. All respect to everybody who is grieving that loss. Listen, unfortunately, none of us wanted to or expected to have to deal with.
Correct.
And so, Meek, it was real insensitive, bro. It was stupid. It was a terrible bar, bro. It was a terrible bar, and we expect more out of you, considering where you are in your career.
Listen, all right. With that being said, guys, we're gonna go to a little break, pay some bills real quick, and then come back, and then we're gonna have a few more topics. We should have some more poetry / rap verses come up, so we'll see. We might have that in store for y'all later, but we're gonna go ahead and pay these bills, and then catch y'all in a minute.
Calibosi, Saji, young wings, picture one. Can you feel my pain? Nights and days of work for this. Many times I feel like cry, but still my faith. Never make me lose my way, me pray. Born as a sardine of the east. Poker face system business, cause all me see a crab in a barrel. John who no one enemies. Them not gonna live to see the worst away. Just know say still, all my sacrifice not go so still. To them no know ya, know ya. They don't know my pain. The way me grow ya, grow ya. Feel my pain. Nights and days of work for this. Many times I feel like cry, but still my faith. Never make me lose my way, me pray. Born as a star queen of the east. Everybody have dreams, thoughts, some I believe fast. Temptations in distant. Them with your energy, yo. The seat, yo. Third eye have to load up. Grow rough, you know it go. Now follow them when them ego. Jana hide my talent now. For this, many times I feel like cry, but still, my faith. Can you feel my pain? Nights and days of work for this. Many times I feel like cry, but still, my faith. Never make me lose my way, me free. Burn as a serpent of peace. Never lose my way.
First the rain come, then the rain go. Pull up in the raincoat, pull off on the rainbow. Light moves faster than sound, I'm Usain Bolt. Champagne flutes on the lips of an angel.
Hey, yeah. Champagne flutes, humble roots, trouble youth. I give my all to you. Major moves, no excuse. Trouble youth. I give my all to you. Yeah. Only if you really, really love me. Only if you really, really love me. You gon' make it shake something, babe. Yeah. Only if you really, really love me. Only if you really, really love me. You gon' back it up and dump it, babe.
Hey, all I know is coming down clean in a slab. Hey, all I know is breaking down weed in a bag. Hey, all I know is family is everything I got. Whoa, all I know is daddy's getting thicker than the plot. Hey, all I know is all I need to know is what I'm not. Hey, all I know is they can never fit me in a box. Whoa, all I know is trying to turn a little to a lot, man. All I know is I don't know shit. But we lit. I ain't working all day, I'm glad it's night. And the pips, Eddie Kane in this bitch, make it rain, make it drip, make it like an 8K extended clip. Throw that ass in a circle, make it hard to get a grip. You been waiting like a waitress, you excited for the tip. Tell them niggas fall back, Leonidas with the kick. Set your soul on fire with a kiss. I don't know why we exist, but I can't think of no reason other than this.
You know, to be here together and shit. Trap hippie.
Calibosi, Sanjay, Young Wings, Picture One, Kenya. Can you feel my pain? Nights and days of work for this. Many times I feel like cry, but still my faith. Never make me lose my way, me pray. Born as a sardine of the east. Poker face system business, cause all me see a crab in a barrel. John who no want no enemies. Them not gonna live to see the worst of we. Just know say still, all me sacrifice not go so still. To them they know ya, know ya. They don't know my pain. The way me grow ya. Feel my pain. Nights and days I've worked for this. Many times I feel like cry, but still my faith. Never make me lose my way, me pray. Born as a star queen of the east. Everybody have dreams, thoughts, some I believe fast. Temptations in this time, them with your energy, yo. The seat, yo. Third I have to load up. Grow rough, you know it go. Now follow them with them ego. Jana hide my talent now. For this, many times I feel like cry, but still, my faith, can you feel my pain? Nights and days I've worked for this, many times I feel like cry, but still, my faith, never make me lose my free. Burn as a serpent of peace. Never lose my way.
Yo, we back, folks. We are back. Our two other hosts, they chimed in finally. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? It's DA. You know, I'm glad to be here with y'all, and I'm glad you're here with us.
What's going on? It's Bird. How y'all doing? I'm glad that y'all here, and I'm glad to be here with y'all.
All right, so listen. This is what we're gonna do. We did the poetry, Joan. We might have another session if Bird want to chime in. If DA want to chime, Mike. Is that a definite thing, Bird?
Definitely.
Oh, okay.
Bro, listen, I'm ready. I stay ready.
All right. Well, we're gonna get another session in a minute. Now, what we do want to discuss now is the expectations of JSU. We all know prime time, Deion Sanders, Pro Bowler, MVP, Super Bowl champ, two-sport athlete. Should I go more about this guy? Now, what they're doing over there is magnificent, right? The beautiful thing I like about JSU is what they're doing. They're giving everybody exposure. They're giving everybody access to JSU. Why are not other schools doing this? Other schools may have a media department to essentially have filmed them day in and day out. JSU is doing a wonderful job of what is it called? What's the word I'm looking for here?
Showcasing the program.
Showcasing the program. I'm not the word I'm looking for. But anyway, listen, they're doing a beautiful job. And to say the least, everybody's tuning in. I'm becoming inside look, day in and day out. It's like almost daily access, to be honest. You understand? All access. So they're being like the HBO inside. They're doing all that. That's just what they're creating. So what we want to get into, what should be the expectations at this moment. So G-Man, let me know what your thought process on that. We'll start with you.
Well, listen, and listen. Let me say this, man. Right? Everybody else has said it. I'm gonna say this, and y'all gonna hear me say this every week, right?
What's that?
Listen, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. Listen, man. So listen, let's just jump straight to what the facts are, right? We got one data set. We got one data set to go off of. That's all I'm saying. Here's the reality, right? Listen, Jackson State went 53-0 on Edward Waters on February 21st. 53-0.
What was the score?
53-0.
A blowout.
Massive blowout,
53
right? Of epic proportions.
53 donut.
But let's keep it a buck, right? And listen,
no
disrespect to anybody in Jacksonville, Duval, or anywhere in that area, but it's Edward Waters. It's still Edward Waters,
Hey, listen,
right?
a donut is still a donut. I don't care who you playing, what you playing. It's still hard to keep somebody out of the end zone. Point blank period.
Now, what I will say, and what I love to give credit to, is a lot of the articles that I'm reading about it, they giving praise to the defensive unit, right? Like, listen, they put up 53 points.
Yeah, but they also gave up no points.
I feel you, but I'm just saying, right? They're not really talking a lot about the offense. They're talking a lot about the defensive unit. And basically, I will say this. The offense is going to make a name for itself pretty quickly if they can put up 53 points a game.
They already made a name for themselves already.
True,
with
right?
With the 53.
But what I mean is that the growth is going to just continue to kind of it's going to continue.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have a steady trajectory in a positive direction if they can continue this, right? And so I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dion is going to listen. The recruitment aspect of what they do at Jackson State is going to magnify itself 100 times over just by Dion being the head coach.
It already has, but
right? And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's not going to stop.
Of course.
At the end of the day, kids want to play for Deion Sanders.
Why?
Because of what he was able to accomplish. Everybody wants to be around and be with winners, right? Deion was the dude that if he played for the Cowboys, they won the championship. If he played for the Niners, they won the championship.
So he's like LeBron is. When LeBron go to a team, they could become automatic favorites. Oh, well, I'm just trying to look.
Well, I'm just saying, LeBron got a losing record in the finals. But I'm just saying, facts only. So all I'm saying is this: cats want to play for Dion. Listen, Jackson State. I will tell you what the measuring stick will be for me.
What's that?
Right? Orange Blossom Classic in Miami against FAMU, who last season was a terror to their conference.
Mm-hmm. They were.
Right? If they're gonna go in there and they put them paws on FAMU like they put them paws on Edward Waters, dude, I might be calling Eastern New Mexico saying, dude, my son's going to Jackson State, bro.
Just like that?
Yeah.
Oh, like that.
That's a major statement.
And I'm going to tell you what. I stand on that because the reality is this.
Talk about it.
I've always wanted my son to want to go to an HBCU and to put on for an HBCU.
Correct.
But I also understand that my son has goals. And in his mind, it's easier to achieve those goals from varying institutions. Had Jackson State given my son an offer and he had to choose between Eastern New Mexico and Jackson State at that time, I'm sure that I would have convinced him to go to Jackson State, right?
That was an easy decision.
Decision to make, closer to home, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is, if Jackson State is going to stay on this trajectory, dude, I am saying to you as someone who just literally on National Signing Day put his son in college with a full scholarship, I'm like, how do I get my son over there? How do I get my son to be a part of that, right? Mm-hmm. How do I get my son to get the HBCU experience in college? Mm-hmm. Right, which is it's vastly different, and I'm talking from the perspective of somebody who went to an undergrad HBCU, but also went to 2 PWIs for my master's degrees.
Okay,
right. So I have experience at both schools. Mm-hmm. I've worked at PWIs, and I'm working at an HBCU right now. Mm-hmm. Right, and so here's where I'm at. I understand that the experience is different, especially for black males at an HBCU. Right, I know what going to an HBCU did for me. Mm-hmm. So if I thought that my son could get the same exposure, right, and go to an HBCU, I'm all for it. I'm with the shits on this, bro.
Exposure, I love that.
I'm with the shits on this.
I'm coming at you. So, DA, give me what's your expectations right now?
I'll be honest with you. Like when he first got the job, my thought was, I mean, he might, he's given the fact that he hadn't coached at any level for
one level.
I think high school.
Yeah,
but it was
for quite some time.
Yeah, for quite
winning though.
Winning, but it wasn't like I guess it wasn't college experience. So and also for the jobs he went for too. Like he went Florida State,
Tennessee as well.
Tennessee as well.
About Tennessee,
Those are the 2 schools that I heard that in particular, he threw his hat in. I don't even know if he probably could have said something to Auburn and Texas when they had openings. But
and let me add to that. What they said to him was he didn't have, what you're alluding to, no college experience.
Yeah, he didn't have no college experience. So it's kind of, and it's not like he came from the NFL as a coach, as a head coach either, or a coordinator or anything like that.
He waited some time and then went into the whole high school thing. Yeah.
So going into Jackson State, my thought process was, okay, then he's going to be just one of the run-of-the-mill coaches in the league, because I don't.
This is interesting
because I was like, we'll see if he's any good. We'll see if he's.
So you have some type of doubt then that he's going to be successful.
That's initially. So the question presented is, what changed? What changed for me was once I started seeing the type of athletes he was drawing to Jackson State.
Well, he already said it, and I alluded to this doing another podcast, that he said he had individuals reaching out to him, like family members saying, "Hey, can you look at my son? Can you look at my son?" Mm-hmm. What he said was, "Is Alabama recruiting him? Is LSU recruiting him? Is Florida State recruiting him? They're not recruiting on one." So that let me know what type of athletes he wants to bring in.
Yeah, and then he
got a problem with that.
Let me finish the whole analysis.
All right, hold on. But let me just say this because it's right on the piggyback of what he just said.
Okay, go ahead.
Which is Alabama didn't recruit his son.
Oh,
right. His son was where?
FAU.
Where?
But I think Florida State. But Florida State recruited his son.
It is.
Even though the staff that was there is not there, it still was a Power 5 institution that thought
it's
that
the same person that recruited him at FAU.
It doesn't matter though, because he even at Florida State he thought he's good enough to play at this level.
And he got fired because of his inability to identify key talent and actually
different.
execute on the field.
That's a whole different conversation.
We want to talk about that.
Now we talking because where you going?
I'll wait on Bird to get.
Let me say this.
I'll wait on Bird's eye.
Because where you was going, you're about to audit his career. His career says he knows what he's doing at the
what career? But anyway, don't.
As a coach at the Power 5.
But we're gonna stay focused on this.
Okay.
Because
Florida
State fans.
Don't start that.
Florida State fans.
Because we got some listening right now. They gonna chime in. We're gonna have them chime in.
So once he started, check me out. So once he started attracting the players that he had started attracting, then I coupled with the fact that he's still doing commercials on ESPN. Mm-hmm. He's still doing commercials on any all these Disney news networks, channels. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, you've already made noise by recruiting former Power 5 players to play at your school. Mm-hmm. You got your son, who was considered really good, to play at your school. So from a football standpoint, you're bringing in the pieces to dominate.
Yeah, and he got the coaches that coach in the NFL and college level.
So you bringing in the pieces to literally, if he wanted to, he could be the Nick Saban of HBCU, between the MEAC and the Southwest Athletic Conference and any other conference in that level.
Listen, I want
to even rival a school like North Dakota State.
And listen, they still got to put on them one pan legs,
true,
one at a time, and play that game.
So they still got to play the game.
At the end of the day.
So that's why it's actually what Gary said about playing a school like Florida A&M at the Orange Bowl Classic,
and matching up,
and really turning up, because at that point, just take care of business, and now you're going to cause a debate.
Oh, it's already caused.
Now people are going to be wondering, damn. Especially, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I can envision a future where the college football playoff committee, if there's something, I can envision a future. I'm saying I could, but anyways,
I already know you're going.
But I'll even put the alternative, because y'all know where I was going with that.
I do, yeah, I got you, but I ain't buying it.
But I'll even put that he does that, and he does that for and he has a strong winning record, meaning that he's gonna lose some games. Come on, every man.
So at this point, what do you think they're gonna do? Let's give me a analysis.
Man, I think, bro,
on their record this year.
How many games they playing per season? 12, like everybody else. Because of the modifications, was it 10 now?
Maybe 10 to 12.
Okay, so I got him. If he goes
above 800,
man, if he's 32-8 over 4 years, literally just only losing 2 games. and he really is bringing the pieces to where that he may not lose games. Mm-hmm. Man, 32-8. What?
So you predict overall he may
31-9, or
he
maybe
may do pretty well.
Oh
over time.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
All right, so that's your expectation. Okay, Bert, what you got on this one, man?
I'm gonna keep it short and simple, man. To be honest, connections are everything. Let's speak from a high school standpoint. He coached high school, but you have to understand that once when we were in high school and we were playing football, we wanted to make sure that not only were we being looked at, but our coach had the connections to get us to where we want to be. And like you said, with the team and the resources in which they have already compiled, they have every connection there in order to plug you in, but on a different level, because now you have to understand that you're bringing people to show you where you need to be, where you are. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you have athletes now and coaches that can say, all right, what we're doing right now are drills that are going to be doing 4 or 5 years from now, but you're about to do them right now so we can get done.
That's the Alabama culture. That's the talk you talking, yeah.
And I really believe that when it comes to drive, you have certain kids, no matter whether they grew up in whatever neighborhood, black, white, green, or blue, but Deion Sanders is like a brand name. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody knows who he is, so when you look at what he's trying to build, is something that you want to go after because of what it is. Not even if it has been proven yet, but because of what it is, and even if it hasn't been proven, if you add yourself to it, what can you prove for this person or this representation?
I love it.
You know?
Yeah.
So, short and simple, I think that he's going to do great. I think that he's going to produce a lot of greats because of not only who he is, but what he wants to produce going forward. Like you guys said, he didn't have the experience. I would say that he's using... The question is he staying long term?
That is the question.
Because
that's really the question right now.
And let me interject on that. I think because of those other schools that turned him down, the Florida State, Tennessee, and other schools that I don't know of that he basically interviewed with, I think he's going to prove a point. It don't matter where I go. I'm going to make a staple, and it's going to stick, and it's going to stay.
And I agree with that 100%, but it still goes back, because he's going to make a staple because he has to. Let's get that understood, because if he doesn't...
Who he is, yeah.
Not only because of who he is, but what he wants to do. Yeah. If he doesn't, you can't go back to these teams and say, let me do this. So you have to make a staple and say, this is what I have done, and now my check is going up, just like an artist. Yeah. My check is going up now, and this is what I can do for you. I've produced, I've shown. You know, but the question is... I think a lot of people, like in this circle, we're looking at it from an HBCU standpoint, and that's a great representation because of who he is and what he can stand for. But are you going to stay long term? Is there longevity in this, or are you using the HBCU name to get to a PWI
as a vehicle?
That's all.
Yeah. And from a career standpoint, we can't knock any.
You can't.
I'm not. What I will say because what that puts. Jackson State is in a position where it has to be like a UCF, right? UCF, you know, and the reason why I use University of Central Florida is just that because of the success that they had under Scott Frost, some of the success that they had under Josh Heupel, Heupel, you know, that school for the level it's at in the Group of 5 is now considered like a serious launching pad.
Of course, yeah.
And so that's just Deion's professional careerism, and we're talking about what could happen in Jackson State. With Jackson State now, if it has great success under Deion, it can now advertise this job to a guy like, let's say, like Ed Reed, if he's looking to get into coaching. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Some of these former NFL guys that want to get into coaching, and then that can just be like, hey, you just gotta, all you gotta do is,
I like that,
drive my car very well. Win a lot of races and don't crash it, right?
I got
now, the other thing is I was going to say is that Deion also brings spotlight. You know what I'm saying? Because
we know that,
and I'm just saying for
brand,
this player,
brand name,
if you're going to be some of the players that he's going to get is going to be the best of that level. If you on top of the players that he's going to steal from that would
this is year one, we still
So what I'm saying is like he can advertise the school as, hey, you want to get to the NFL.
The kids already know that.
This is the platform. This is the platform.
Deion don't have to say that.
We don't need to talk about nothing else. So it's right here.
I want to definitely stand on when it comes to situating things, though, brother. it's no difference if he does stay or if he does go long term. There's nothing wrong with using this as a catalyst to get to where it is that you want to go. There's nothing wrong with that. All I'm saying is you're going to have different views that are being looked at right now. Like, people are looking at you like this black man is doing some great things for a black community, black school. Like, it's
there's pressure.
You get what I'm saying?
There's pressure that's going to come with this. Yeah,
that's all I'm trying to say.
And him being him, I think he's going to rise to the occasion. And
Absolutely.
He putting that pressure on himself.
Absolutely.
He knows that.
Okay. Well, listen, let's do this, right? Because we've kind of talked about that, right? And so let's just come down to brass tacks, right? Okay. So they had an 8-game season. Yep. Alcorn State forfeited before the season started. So they got 7 games left in this spring schedule. Right? So let's start with this. Edward Waters, we already know that went down. He took care of that. 53-0. Okay. Right? You got Mississippi Valley.
Okay.
Then you got Grambling State. Then you got Alabama State.
Okay.
Then you got Prairie View. Then you got Southern. Then you got Alabama A&M. Right? So that's what his future looks like, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the day, where do you think they're going to end up, right? On a 7-game schedule, are they going to be are they over under 5-2?
Over.
I say over. I got
Mr. Daily Insight, aka Lump, over.
I got under, and I stand on that. It's his first year, and there's gonna be 2 games where he's gonna learn from those 2 games, and then he'll be super successful.
Mm-hmm. So you think they're gonna lose how many?
2 games.
So he'll be even at 5-2,
or at 500, right?
Yeah.
I thought we said over and under 5-2.
5-2. So at 7 games, they're going to be 5-2 or better, 5-2 or worse.
Oh, then I got to go.
You're at 5-2.
So I'm at 4-3.
4-3. Yeah.
Okay, you're at 4-3. Okay. So you're definitely.
So I can't be at 5-2.
You can. I'm saying.
Oh, then that was at 5-2.
So you're even.
I'm even.
You think he will actually be 5-2?
Right on the head.
Okay, Bird, where you at? Projection wise.
Honestly, I believe that from a drive standpoint that he definitely will be over, just from a drive standpoint. I'm looking at it and I'm going over, man. I'm giving it to him.
Here's what I want to bring in, right? One last little tidbit of just conversation. Because I just had this conversation the other day. Mm-hmm. And so if y'all could just give me 30 seconds on your opinion on this before we hit to the next break and play the next track, and shout out to some independent artist spotlight. You know, there's this. Listen, I was having a conversation the other day about why the greats are not typically great coaches, right? Why Jordan isn't going to be a great coach, right? Most coaches like Jordan, one of the reasons why they struggle to coach players that are not of that caliber are because they are willing to give something that no one else is willing to give, right? They're willing to give something that no one else is willing to give. And it's very hard for them to understand why you ain't the first one in the gym, the last one to leave, why you don't have a motor like no other, why you don't like listen, we're not talking about phenomenal freakish talent. I'm just talking about the greats and what they're willing to give. Tom Brady probably would be a bad coach to me, to somebody who's not willing to give what he was willing to give. Because it's going to be extremely hard to understand the perspective of somebody who doesn't give what you're willing to give. And I'm not saying this because I think Deion's going to fall flat on his face. I actually think he'll be above the 5-2 for this spring, right? The fall will be a little bit more interesting to me. But I think in the spring, I think that the hype, I think that the enthusiasm of the players and everything else, dude, sometimes that energy is just unbeatable. But I am saying for the long-term haul, right? Being able to coach players that don't have the drive you have, that don't have that thing that made them great, is that going to be something that he may have to face? I'm not even saying he won't overcome it, but is it something that somebody like Deion, who was the greatest at what he did, is that something that he's going to have to face as a coach?
Who going first?
Let's start with Bird.
Well, I would say it is something that he's going to have to face, and I think he's already faced. And when you face something at a younger level, like, I just want to go back to high school. When you face something at a younger level, you're dealing with undeveloped children. You understand what I'm saying? We aren't talking about grown men. We're talking about undeveloped children. And you can speak from that aspect.
Absolutely.
You definitely have firsthand experience when it comes to it. And you have to not only know what you have, but what the potential of who you're coaching has. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So can he bring it out? I think he's done it. See, people look at preparation differently. I think he was prepared in certain instances before he got to this level with certain individuals who he had to coach before he got to where he is.
Like his son.
Absolutely.
Because his son is not him, but his son still turned out to be a very good athlete that was recruited heavily. Okay.
Two sons, or because
both of his sons.
Both his sons. Both his sons.
Both of his sons.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Love. You considering like where they at?
Yeah.
Our resident.
Stop it.
Athlete.
Well, far as the talent goes, and I don't think so. Reason being, the energy and everything. But I get it. Dion is Dion. He has a certain expectation and how he prepares and everything like that. But I think the kids want to be great and they want to be a part of something. So I think they're going to rise to the occasion and prove everybody wrong and be on one level and be like, you know what? We're going to do this for you. We're going to do this for the coaches. We're going to do this for this community. We're going to make this school great. We're going to make kids want to come in. We're going to make this to Alabama. We're going to make this to Florida State. Yeah. So I think, in my opinion, that they're going to rise to the occasion and that energy that they're creating, the buzz that they're creating with the media, I think it all is going to come together.
Quick question. Is it safe to say that the expectations that we both know are high on Dion's standpoint is not just on him, but like you were just saying, on the team as well,
Correct.
as far as them producing? Okay.
I mean, you got to imagine that they all feel that, like, it might be small to some, it might be big to others, that, we got to put on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And pressure bust pipes, though.
Yeah. So what I would say to that, though, I'm not gonna hold you. Y'all, I think y'all making it kind of more difficult than it is. It comes down to
wait.
And what I mean by that, and this is what I mean, and I don't, and what I mean by this is like doing and teaching and managing are 3 different skill sets. Deion Sanders, the athlete, was a great doer because he only had to do his job, which was a very specific job on the field.
Correct, and that's why he hired the right team
but
around him to do the do part.
No, and I know that.
You know what I'm saying?
But being a great player at that position don't teach you how to do the other position in terms of bringing people together. In terms of, because once the enthusiasm,
I see your aspect that you trying to.
No, what I'm saying is
trying to bring. I got you.
Because once that enthusiasm of the first game and the first couple of wins, and you get some adversity starts to really happen, it's going to be on his talent as a teacher and as a manager to get his team to be high performing again.
But again, he did it in high school.
You don't just because
he did it in high school as well. So you know what I'm saying?
So what I'm saying is
at a high level, winning championships.
That's what he learned how to do it.
Okay,
that's what he learned how to do it. Because just being on the football field and being a great athlete don't teach you how to coach.
Just like how you said with Tom Brady, it doesn't make him.
It doesn't make you a good coach.
Great coaching.
That's a talent.
But that's the point of the conversation. That was the point of the question.
That goes back to what I said. He was prepared for this position
based on his high school experience.
Because without that, he couldn't do that.
So you saying yes? You saying
of course?
All right.
I just wanted to really really
hone in.
I mean, don't listen.
Hey, come on.
Are you a shade tree today? Because you threw shade before you even
said it. No, but it seemed like y'all was having a conversation over here.
No, we wasn't. No. It was
way more, right?
Nah,
because I was about to say,
because the question is about him being an athlete.
But
and I'm like, no, because you're talking about. You're talking about the question about him being an athlete and not seeing the drive.
Why was Larry Bird unsuccessful as a head coach? Right, but why is Jordan not very good at being the owner of a team? Because everybody assumes that because you're great on this level that you could do it. Everybody assumes that greatness will translate. And what I'm saying is, and that's the whole point, the difference between Dion and all of these other people, which Bird highlighted immediately, which kudos to that guy, right? Yeah. From the bird's eye view, is that, listen, the difference was that Dion actually did this with younger kids. Mm-hmm. He did this with younger kids.
Which is much harder.
It caused him to have to, whatever the growing pains were, he probably experienced them at Prime Academy. And so he probably won't have to face those now. So
I'm
just saying,
you've
been in a classroom. You're a lawyer. You've been in a classroom with people who were great at practicing law, but they may not have been great teachers because teaching is a skill set you have to learn.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Most of these greats have not learned how to be teachers because they're going off the strength of their previous accomplishments.
Yeah.
Dion is not in that basket because he's already done it at a high school level. Granted, it was like 3A. But you know what I mean?
Still, and the point to that, in college, my actual coach, and my shout out to Coach Vardaman, Texas. He coached me first year at SEMO, Southeast Missouri State. He was not a great player whatsoever. I don't even think he even played, to be honest.
Sounds like Bill Belichick.
Basically. But he was the best teacher.
Yes.
Techniques and everything to a T.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, Coach, like, do you? Nah, I'm a teacher. That's naturally what I do. Give me something, and I can teach you.
The less gifted you are at something, the more understanding you
had to have.
And that's what I'm saying. Correct. He had just to be competitive. Yeah. He had to have
just to be on the team.
Correct. Just to make the team. And that's what
you better know the plays. Yeah. You better know the plays.
Right. But that doesn't mean you can run fast. That doesn't mean you can catch the ball.
Correct.
So,
but if you don't know the plays,
correct. Yeah.
We're going to pay somebody here that can run fast and get you off the team.
Right. So, we'll get you a clipboard, buddy. So, listen, long story short, let's wrap this up. At the end of the day, I think we all got pretty good expectations, high expectations. DA is the only one on the under with the 5-2.
Oh my God!
DA is the only one on the under.
Underdog.
But we can all say this. At the end of the day, I think something we can all stand on without any hesitation is that Dion being at Jackson State is an immaculate thing, both for those athletes, for himself and his potential career, and in addition to that, for HBCUs as a whole.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, listen, I'm excited about it. I'm anxious to see where we're going to go. But I stand on the fact that I think Dion he's going to show up and show out. Let's get it, baby.
Yeah. All right, so what we're going to do, guys, we're going to pay some bills real quick and come back. And we're going to have a few more other topics. And then we're going to bring in that poetry. Bird's going to spit some. GA going to spit some. DA going to spit some. And then G-Man DA, well, you ain't got to. I ain't putting no pressure. I ain't putting no pressure on you. You know what I'm saying? If you want to, you want to. Whatever. Yeah. All right, so we're going to pay some bills. We're going to be right back, guys.
Don't be scared.
Calibosi, Sanjay, young wings, picture one. For this, many times I feel like cry, but still my faith. Never make me lose my way, I'ma pray. But as I start being off the east, spoke a fair system business, cause all me see a crop in a barrel. John who no want enemies, them not gonna live to see the worst of we. Just know say still, all my sacrifice not go so still. To them no know ya, they don't know my pain. Know where my grow ya. Feel my pain. Nights and days I've worked for this. Many times I feel like cry, but still my faith.
Nigga. Look. Hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, so we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. Nigga, that is not a fun discussion. It ain't about no front, so nigga, fuck it. I get my cake, I feel great. She can tell that I'm paid. She shake her ass in my face. I can tell that it's fake. Now she's speaking about freaking, trying to run some game. Saying if I trick, she treating, trying to play me like a lame. She say pay or pay her no mind. So I pay no mind, she let me bone. Now she hit my phone and I just hit decline. She trying to date, well she gotta wait. Cause I be on my grind, it's plenty cake that I gotta make. So I ain't got the time. Look what it do is what I make it do. And you just making do. We heard it's a glass roof, so now my niggas breaking through. Look, we out here chasing money, trying to catch up to the loot. The money moves, so I ain't got no time to wait around on you. Hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, so we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. That is not a fun discussion. It ain't about no front, so nigga, fuck it. I heard it cost to be the boss. Well, shit, I had to pay the price. With the way you see me living, you gon' think I paid it twice. Would say call a nigga Bow Wow, cause I'm ballin' like Mike. But shit, I'm ballin' like a bitch, so you could call me what you like. Man, the shit you niggas do got me so confused. Y'all be tricking with these bitches, but that's not the way we move. Why you caking with your boo? I got paper to pursue. I hit the mall and buy it all until it ain't shit in there new. If being fly's the motive, you should notice that I flew. I ball fierce, I'm Paul Pierce. I tried to told you I'm the truth. I got clout without a doubt. I'm the best up in the booth. They say the proof is in the pudding. Well, look. Hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, so we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. That is not a fun discussion. It ain't about no front, so nigga, fuck it. Oh, you ballin', well that's what you call it, cause you bought a drop. Fuck you thinking, all this cash I'm bringing shit, I buy a watch. No we not, no we fucking not. We are not the same, I'm that dude. Look, I make the rules, you just play the game. For y'all boys to get the leads, it's funny cause y'all do the most. I just killed the parking lot and then I pulled off in the ghost. Dog, I'm finding it hard out the boast. They get some bread and I'm getting a loaf. Man, I'm hiding in chimney smoke. Money as long as infinity go. Hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, so we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. That is not a fun discussion. It ain't about no front, so nigga, fuck it.
Yo, we are back, my folks. Paid a few bills real quick, and we're going to have another topic. I think it's business ownership versus high salary. I'm excited to talk about this because I do a few things on the side. Everybody call me hustle man. Like, they always I'm a Jamaican. I got 20 jobs. That's not true. But listen, the thing is...
He has 19.
Listen, but the whole thing is, with me when it comes to that, and we're going to get into it, is I believe you should have more than one income in this universe, in this U.S. It is essential, to be honest.
Don't jump too deep into it, baby.
I'm on my bad.
You already like 6 feet deep.
My bad.
Maybe we ain't even set the
all right, my bad. I'm excited to talk about this. I'm sorry. But listen, all right, we're going to let G-Man spin it off real quick. He going to give us the little play-by-play on the article, because this is what we're doing, guys. We're going by articles, kind of what they're saying about it, and then just having a conversation about it. So this is how we're going to jump into it. So G-Man, spin it off for me.
All right, so listen, let's start with this, right? Obviously, like you said, there was an article that was posted talking about employees or business owner. At the end of the day, who really makes more money, right? And anybody who's interested in this topic, one of the first things I recommend is there's a book called The Educated Franchisee by Rick Bizio. So, Rick, you owe me for this shout out, bro. But at the end of the day, here's what we're trying to discuss, right? As an employee, you're gonna get paid immediately, right? You're gonna get that money right off the rip, right? You're always gonna be making somebody else richer than you, but you're gonna get that money right off the rip. The other part about that is that a lot of these high salary jobs, you start coming in with perks, right? Company cars, company credit cards, healthcare packages,
vacation packages.
Mm-hmm.
Speak on
right.
It. Speak on
so the reality is, in the short term, right? The answer is always going to be real simple. The employee makes more money, right? But as a business owner, you're going to walk away from probably what's a sizable income, right? Yeah. You're probably going to have to invest your own capital, right? If you don't have investors, you're going to be investing your own capital.
And what number are we talking about? Because I want to just have the people visualize.
I'm going to give you that.
Because I'm about to paint the picture of what high salary jobs look like. But y'all know what they are.
But I'm the moderator. Let me moderate.
Do your thing.
Let me moderate. Can I stand on my moderation?
Stand on.
Please. Okay. So listen. So at the end of the day, I'm just setting the stage for y'all boys because I know y'all ready to go in, right? So at the end of the day, as a business owner, in the immediate short-term future, you're gonna lose access to capital, and as an employee, you're gonna have access to more liquid cash, right? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, let's also not forget the benefits of being a business owner, right? You're going to immediately get tax benefits, right? You're going to have the ability to purchase large items like cars as business expenses and other write-off expenses. Child care, that's another write-off. So at the end of the day, because the government wants to stimulate the health of small businesses by offering tax advantages to small business owners, you can actually start to see yourself in the long-term future probably get once you catch that stride, right? And we're not talking about we talking about
Usain Bolt stride,
right? We ain't talking about like fresh out the gate, right?
Getting it now.
We ain't talking about the right. We talking about as you get past that 20
that
yards,
400,
and you kick into that second gear,
walking them down.
So at the end of the day, here's what we know. By the third year as a business owner, in most cases, you're still going to be making a little bit less than the employee with the average yearly raises. Right, but as an entrepreneur, you're gonna have to. You would have created an asset value in your business,
correct?
And so now, if you want it, you have the ability to sell your company at a profit, or you can continue to grow your asset. So in 3 years, you've increased your net worth significantly, while the employee continues to have low risk, but a limited potential for future growth, right? And so, personally, for me, I think obviously in our community, more than anything else, we got to have a shift from the salary mentality, right?
Why so?
I'm sorry?
Why so?
Because I think we have to have an asset creation mentality, right? At the end of the day, the ideas and the concepts that I generate are going to be more valuable than anything that I can actually do, right? Intellectual property is so much more valuable than anything you can actually physically do, right? Jordan made more money through endorsements and everything else and through business ownership than he ever did on the actual court,
correct?
Right? When you start looking at all of these people, Jay-Z made more money as a business owner than he did as a rapper, right? He used that as a foundation to catapult themselves. When you look at the history and the trajectory of what employment used to be way back in the day before college was this thing that everybody was supposed to do, most people learned a trade, a blacksmith, a wordsmith, whatever it may be. You learn from someone so that you could eventually get to a place where you could start your own business and create your own generational wealth, right? That's how it's supposed to be done from back in the day. Yeah. Now we're in a world where a lot of people are making a lot of money to just make other people rich. And so we've always fallen victim to this low risk, right, high salary ideology. Right. So the truth of the matter is, I just want to get your take on what do you think is more valuable? I can tell you what I think, right, and I kind of already shed a little light on where I'm at, but I'm just saying, as much as I can tell you what I think, I'm going to jump to, let me start with Bird, because he was the one that kind of respected the space. He didn't try to dive all in it early.
Okay.
Let me give Bird some shine for
Okay, Mr. Moderator.
Listen, and I think it helps everybody for Bird to get a bird's eye view, and then we come back down to a ground value. So, Bird, as someone who, listen, you've done both,
Indeed.
right?
Indeed.
What's your perception of high salary versus business ownership? And let's just start with a round number that's easy for everybody to do math on. Let's just say it's $100,000. $100,000 salary, right? Versus being a business owner where you're probably going to bring in maybe 50, right? Let's say you got a good business idea and your first year you may bring in 50. Same year, if you were an employee, you might make $100,000, right? And so at the end of the day, what's more valuable? Is it the $100,000 that you may keep making for a few years, or is it the 50 that you can actually grow over time, right? And so just from your own experience and just from your own perspective, what's your thoughts on that, Bird?
Okay, so first things first, I wanna definitely make this statement, and I hope nobody is offended by me making it, but certain things aren't for everyone. We're going to need workers,
worker bees,
and we're going to need owners. I was just sitting down, and it's crazy that we're having this particular conversation on this subject because I was just talking to a great friend of mine about accessibility and ownership. Having access to something and owning something. There is a difference, but the things that can be done with the two are the same.
Correct.
Okay. When it comes to this per se, you have $100,000 that you can make working for AB Hut. Okay. AB Hut says that I'll pay you $100,000 if you dedicate 40 hours a week of your life to my business. Out of this year, I will give you $100,000. Now, listen. With that being said, you're accountable now. You know that you have to clock in at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
You get off at 5 o'clock. You off Friday and Saturday. You got a lot of leisure. You got a lot of leisure, right? But when Monday through Friday hits, it's back locked now. Okay? The difference between that person and the business owner is Sunday to Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have those breaks. You don't have that leisure. You're sitting down working on yourself and your business every single day and still have the chance of losing. See, he says 50,000 and it's great. It sounds great. But you can get to the end of the year and lose 4 clients.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
Some people aren't able to withstand the pressure of what comes with actually being an owner, but I will agree that it is better than a salary due to ownership because of legacy.
Oh, speak on that.
Make sure that we remember that those who own now have owned long time before. We're looking at people who have had companies started in 1967, 1892. The liquor that we drink, these things have been started long before, and it's legacies that's passed down. That's what ownership is, though. These weren't people taking a salary saying, okay, well, I will continue to do this and pass that salary mentality down to my kids. They started to own certain things throughout their lives and said, I need to pass this down to my grandchildren. So that's where we look at things like trust. You understand what I'm saying? You don't leave a salary in a trust. Okay? You don't. But if you own something, you can leave it. You can leave it. And you can leave it for the future of your seeds. Okay? Because speaking of seeds, he has now provided a way in which he can make ownership so his kids can own. Because listen,
own some shit.
When we look at ourselves from where we are, we have to understand, I'm going to be honest, my mom didn't own a business, but her son does. And now he has the mentality that he wants his children to own a business. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it comes with knowing what ownership can bring for the future, not the right now. And everybody that looks at the salary is looking at the now. I have children now. I have bills now. I don't have time to take off. This is now. Life isn't waiting for me
right now.
Right. So I respect that.
And can I jump in right here?
Absolutely.
And here's what I want to contribute to that, right? Listen, I made more money than I ever made in my life when I published my book. Right?
Stand on that.
I made more money than I ever made in my life when I published my book. The reason why I went back to working for someone else was because my wife and I decided to move to Orlando, and she wanted and deserved a home for her and the kids. And guess what the bank told me? We don't see a consistent income, right? You have a book, and you're saying that you made this much money, right? But at the end of the day, I mean, can we say that that's gonna continue over the life of this loan that you're asking us to give you? So they pushed me back into the workforce so that I could do what?
Absolutely.
So that I could do I could provide my family the American dream of owning a home, right?
Hey, y'all gotta. We're gonna have the visuals, you know what I'm saying, later with it, but we got it on Facebook. But he threw out the quotation. It's beautiful. The American, I love that.
Absolutely.
You guys have to see the American dream in quotation.
And it ain't never been my dream, right? Because America wasn't built for me, so the dream wasn't for me.
Hey, that's why I said that. I knew you were gonna tag on that.
Listen, it's big facts. All and right. So what I will say is this, and just to piggyback on what Bird says, I got 2 kids in college, right? My youngest daughter was in private school.
Yeah.
And so guess what? Yeah. That kind of held me captive to the job that I'm working. And so here's the great news for me, right? Listen, I happen to be lucky enough to meet the right woman and have kids with the right woman. And listen, my anniversary just passed. Shout out to
shout out to the team.
Shout out to team.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's real.
At the end of the day, 20 years together. You know, we've been married since 2004, so 17 years married. Been together for 20. And so my kids are now in college. My youngest is in middle school. Here's what I know. In 4 years, I don't plan on being anyone else's slave, right? And my plan is to go back to doing what I love to do, but also what generated more money for me than I've ever generated in my own life. And it's an unlimited earning potential. No one else can put a cap on what I can earn as long as my grind and the quality of product can match, right? I know that if I can make $100,000 working with another company, then I should be able to make double that at bare minimum on my own merit, right? And that's just what I believe and what I stand on when it comes to my own self. I'm like LeBron. I'm like Darrell Revis. I just want the 1-year contract, baby. Because I believe that after that 1 year, I'm going to be able to sell myself for more to the next person. I'm going to be able to sell my ideas, my product to the next person at a higher rate. And I'm going to continue to grow moving forward. But I'm not going to hijack the conversation. Lump, man. Come on, bro. Bro.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Let's say on this. Listen. Ownership. High salary. Both are good. Bird touched up on it. Leaving a legacy, which I'm a fan of. And to start off, my grandfather, and this is kind of where I get most of my business. I don't know if you want to call it business savvy, but just business mindset.
Acumen, yeah.
Yes, from my grandfather. My grandfather, God rest the dead, him and my grandmother. I learned a lot from them. Basically raised me up until the age of about 6. He owned a lawn service at a young age. I remember getting up in the morning, 5 a.m. With my 2 uncles and my old boy. I will say sperm donor, but we gonna leave that there. But listen, got up 5 a.m. in the morning. I drank coffee as a kid. I ain't kid you not. Still love it to this day. Got up in the morning. By 5:30, 6 o'clock, we in the first person lawn, cutting it. Yeah,
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. But listen, this is me. I'm raking leaves, 4, 5, 6 years old.
Get to it.
Raking leaves. So I developed that whole mindset. Okay, I didn't understand what he was doing. I thought he was working for somebody. That's just what I thought. But he got up and did it. And then as I got older, I said, "Oh, my granddad owned a business." So I've kind of learned and watched him, run the business. How he divvy up money, how he acts with, what I'm saying? So I understood that. Business ownership is great. But right now, me working for someone is cool for now. Gary touched up on it, working for corporate America, to provide, when you own a home, you want to see that income coming in. Now, I have, let me see, maybe 2 or 3 things that I do outside of my 9-to-5 job, right? Now, when you analyze that, right, Bird touched up on it. It's not for everybody, right? So I would tell everybody, if you want to get in something, start a something small. Don't dive into a full throttle. You understand? Don't do that. I would say, do your 9 to 5, then kind of work your business part time until you build enough capital to do what? Walk away from your actual full-time job. Okay?
Facts.
I've been trying to get Gary to do this. A few things. I would throw little stuff. I say, Gary, man, you can walk.
Listen, all these shade trees out here today,
you could walk. It ain't a shade tree, man, because I want to see all of us do well. At the end of the day, that's my whole thing, right? It ain't shade tree. I say if I see an opportunity, I'm gonna put y'all on. But the whole business ownership thing, I'm gonna be to a point, maybe another year or two, where I say, hey, I can walk away full time from my 9 to 5 and basically do this work full time. This business ownership, you understand? And as Bird say, it is sun up to sundown. You understand? As Gary I always know, I tell him all the time, listen, what you doing? Oh man, I'm running appointments. You know, I do insurance on the side. You understand? Is it good money to me? It's great money to me. I told Gary, I double my income on the weekend versus, within a month on my daytime job. It's great money.
Weekend.
Yeah, on the weekend. Yes, 2 days. You understand? So when I analyze that, I'm able to do what? I'm able to build. I'm able to leave a legacy, and guess what? I can have more time for the family. Right. You understand? Right. Yeah. So business ownership, high salary, it's cool in the meantime.
There's some trade-offs.
But there's some trade-offs to that. Okay, you get the high salary, but still build your own business on the side. You understand? So you don't have to be full-time. Just go part-time with it until it builds enough revenue and capital to walk away from a 9 to 5. Because as Bird said, 9 to 5 not for everybody. Business ownership not for everybody, because you have to be disciplined. Now, there's those days that I don't want to give up. Listen, I have a child. I have a newborn.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, do I get to sleep? I do not.
Congrats.
Do I want to? Thank you. Do I want to run business because I'm tired? I ain't had no sleep, 1 hour sleep? No. But I say to myself, it's bigger than this. I look at the 2 kids. I look at the wife. Listen, it's bigger than that. I got to get up. I got to leave a legacy. I don't have time to waste.
So that's your why.
That is my why.
Okay. So
I'm
standing on
my why. You understand? Because I have to look at that. I say, you know what? Guess what? If I don't do this, what legacy am I leaving behind me right now?
Right.
You understand?
And what message are you sending your kids?
What message am I sending my kids?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna leave it at that. I want to go a lot of different ways with that, but that's what that is.
Okay.
Business ownership is the way to go, or just doing both at the time. High salary versus the business ownership until you have enough capital revenue to walk away from a 9 to 5. So that's my suggestion, and I stand on that.
And listen, I'm gonna say this before we hand it off to DA, because all 3 of us out here have done something or are doing something to where we are both working for someone and actually owning our own thing.
All 4 of us.
So
all 4 of us.
Yeah. We're not all 4 of us. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
absolutely correct.
Not all 3 of y'all, but all.
Listen,
all 4. Y'all.
All 4.
Sorry, Spanish folks, if I messed that up. I'm sorry.
Man. Yeah. So listen, DA, as a young monster in the market, right? Who, listen, we all know what you can command with your background and your education, right? But I still see you out here trying to make moves towards owning something of your own, right?
Yeah, man.
What's your take, bro?
I mean, when it comes to ownership and salary, when we're talking about our community, a lot of us are on hourly, and the reason why I say that is because we need some of us to go from hourly to salary. And and oftentimes salary means there's some professional skill involved.
I remember Grandma saying, "Boy, don't you quit that good job."
You know what I'm saying?
Boy, don't you quit that good job.
And the other thing is too, not everybody, like, somebody's calling and may not require them to quote unquote own a business. Yeah. Like let's say if your calling is to be a doctor, your business is. Your job is, your salary is derived from the clients that you get from the hospital, depending on what type of medical professional you are in that sense.
But you can also join a medical group.
Absolutely.
Contract,
but the goal in the same time though, you still getting the salary, you still got the same concerns. Now, there's other people who didn't go into professional environments where the structure is based off of partnership. Like, law firms, accounting firms, investment firms, where you work under a salary and then you prove that you're able to do the things that entrepreneurs do, and that's what? Get business, then they get you in part of the equity stake. So it all depends on your mission and your purpose in life. Because some people genuinely love being teachers. Some people genuinely love being like athletic coaches.
That goes back to what Bird is saying.
You
like
know?
everybody can't be business ownership. Everybody can't.
But no. I'm not going to say that because I'm a former teacher, and I know a lot of teachers that started their own. They started their own schools. They got grants. They got a lot of money out there, and they started their own school. They started virtual. Virtual. They started virtual learning and tutoring services, so you could still be a teacher, and still have some ownership entity within that.
But I'm just also talking about the. I'm also talking about the guy the man or woman who decides that they want a career in the military. You're not going to own another military. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in the military.
But once you retire, you can start up.
But I'm just talking about.
You can monetize it. You can still monetize it.
You can still start up a self-defense course.
Of course.
Something in the
You gotta know the parameters in which you can operate.
We gotta be. Listen, I just want to throw this in there because as you're talking, right in my mind races, and I apologize for the ADHD kicking in.
Yeah, it's bad.
But let's be real, right? We also got to be careful in the black community about naming our gifts too low, right? Listen, I am much more than a writer, right? I'm a communicator. We got to be careful about naming our gift too low and thinking that there's only one way to monetize that gift.
Yeah,
there's so many ways to monetize gifts. Listen, stop naming your gifts too low. And I got to throw that out there because somebody threw that at me, and that thing hit me like a dagger in the heart. So I just wanted to put that out there as you were talking. Like, don't name your gift too low, y'all.
No, absolutely. I'm just giving you the full variety of what like these scholarships look like. I mean, not scholarships, what these salary positions look like. And at the same time, I work in the financial sector, and the people I work with, the people who've been at the firm for a while, some of them have made partners, some have yet to make partner, but are about to, and they make a lot more money than people who own businesses.
Give me a number. Throw the number out there.
I'm talking about $750,000, $850,000, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. I'm talking about that's how much they get in terms of compensation from their job. That's what they get in terms of compensation from the job.
All we talking is just straight, we ain't talking about all the incentives and bonus. And
that's all part of doing the job, though.
And we did talk about that in the article.
I'm just throwing out.
I just want to make that clear. Because LeBron James, before he started owning all these businesses, he was a salaried employee that made more money than any of us ever thought about making sleeping.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and so that's just a fact of the matter.
I'll call that pajama money.
You know what I mean? And so let's keep the full variety out there because somebody who wants to be an NFL, like a kid that wants to join one day be a football player, he's going to be working for people up until the point that he retires and decides to do something else with his life.
But let's also acknowledge the fact that the average NFL career is 3 to 5 years.
I understand that, but I'm just saying until that time
but that
comes,
could be 26.
Yeah,
you could be 26, and after that, you still got to do something.
It is what it is.
Open a business, baby.
But at the same, so what I'm saying is this, and so I'm just giving y'all painting the full picture of the salary position because in that same position,
and which one are you filling? Being in both positions, because you are in a salary position and you're creating your own business. So which one would you want to do long term? That's the question.
Well, we were talking about what was better. I'm just letting y'all know like the pros and cons of both. I gotta give an argument to the salary. Motherfuckers.
But,
you know what I'm saying?
But as Bird said, he said,
and we just trying to keep the conversation honest because you're not giving us no lean. Where you going, bro?
Okay, so now y'all want to lean now.
Yeah, lean in.
And so for me, obviously you want to own your own shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't got kids, I don't got a wife or nothing like that, and so I'm making this money, the money that I want to make outside of what I'm doing, and then when that does what it does, so I can leave my job, all of that I'm thinking selfishly about, dude, how many trips you want to take this year? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like, how many cars you want to buy if you want to buy cars? Like, if there's some other things that you want to invest in, how much money you want to be able to put down on that?
So now
you know what I'm saying? That's my why.
About guns and butter.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking about how do I turn 2 into 10?
Yeah.
How do I turn 10 into 100? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we get 10x? You know what I mean? And so that's when I'm looking at things and like, ownership gives you the capacity to be exponential. You know what I'm saying? Ownership gives you the capacity to be exponential. And if you have an imagination, on top of this entrepreneurialism, you can literally paint the course for you doing whatever the hell you want to do on this planet while you alive.
And I gotta and we not I want to kind of throw something out there so we can kind of tag this. Why do people don't lean towards ownership?
Let me tap one. Hold on, wait.
It's the risk. It's risky because we all know that businesses, like most businesses, fail within the first 3 or 4 or 5 years. And then, most business. I said most, not all businesses.
That's a fact.
But most businesses. I'm talking about most businesses.
Brick and mortar.
But listen though,
businesses.
wait,
I don't care what you're doing. I don't care.
The question that
some businesses don't. Some businesses require that you just be on the internet and people still fail.
All right, we're still talking 3 to 5 years, right?
Yeah. Within 3 to 5 years, they just say, you know what, I ain't good at this.
Okay, and so now the question is most.
Yeah.
The question was most. Mm-hmm. I don't think even most people who want a business do the research of the business. Honestly.
But why do most don't though?
Hold on. We want to finish actually the one question. Why do people don't start their own business?
That's what I just emphasized.
One thing for certain, 2 things for sure. This quote is by Upton Sinclair, and he says that it is difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends upon his not understanding it. Do you know how deep that is? Okay, so it is difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends upon his not understanding it. What you just asked, he just answered.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand that I'm complacent. I'm not scared. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable where I am right now, and I don't want to take my hat off and say, you know what? I have to do things on my own. Me and a brother of mine were just sitting down talking, and there's a difference between doing things on your own and then having a complacency where things can be done for you. This business world is a gamble. First things first, it's not for sure. Your job is also a gamble because you can get fired, right?
You can be fired.
Speak on that.
Okay, but listen, the second you get fired, there's 2 different people. Are you going to continue to look for work? Or are you going to try to say, you know what, I can create my own?
But I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump in. And here's what I want to say.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, the root cause of all of that is still fear. Right?
Yeah, because it's risk involved.
And I'm going to say that because at the end of the day, people's perception of what is more risky, of what is more dangerous, what am I more prone to not be able to feed my kids on is if somebody has to buy my product, if somebody has to subscribe to my service, right? At the end of the day, a lot of people are still afraid. And so here's what they know. They know that job, whatever job it is, whether it's the one that they had and they got fired from or the one that they're trying to get to, there's a guarantee of a certain amount of money that is going to hit their account every week. And they don't have the vision to see that they can double and triple that number if they pour themselves deeply into whatever it is that they're doing. And most people have not even they haven't arrived. They have no vision of who they are. If you don't even know who you are, you can't start no business.
I mean, come on. A lot of businesses still need employees.
There's a lot of underpaid employees that are not comfortable in what they're doing, but they're still comfortable in knowing
they need employees.
Because they know they're going to depend on that check.
But guess what? Businesses still need employees. A lot of y'all want to do business. A lot of y'all are talking about. I'm pretty sure
we already said it ain't for everybody.
No, okay, that's what I'm saying. So it's not like we're not going to condemn people because it sounds like y'all condemning people like they don't have the vision. Some people just know what they can't do.
Okay.
Hold
on, wait a minute. Wait.
You know they can't do it. They can't do it. They can't do it.
It's not. Hold on. Stop. Because what you spoke on has nothing to do with a can't, brother. Yeah, we have to sit down and use our words from one English major to another English major, brother. Won't. They will not do it.
I agree with you.
You understand what I'm saying? There's a big difference between what you will not do and what you can or cannot do.
I vehemently disagree with you. I vehemently disagree with you.
And he stands on that.
And Dave spoke on doctors He spoke on lawyers, people, partners, people who have salaries, but you have to understand something. There's a large percent of those people that he spoke about that do have ownership. They own stocks, okay? You have to sit down and look at something that they still can say that they manage and own, but it's not a whole business corporation. A stock is still something you have to manage. It's still something that you have to go into.
And brother, I don't disagree with you because we're talking about business owners, and that was another class of individuals that we're talking about now. You're talking about investors.
No.
Yes, you're talking about
still
people.
have a salary.
I know, but you're talking about people who then own equity in something that they can get either passively and they don't have to do active management of it. That's what a lot of investors do. Some people and what I'm saying is,
I'm just giving different branches of what a salary can bring.
No, and that's what I was trying to point to.
But you also got to understand that when you invest in something, there's a margin of ownership that you get from that investment.
Yeah, of course.
So you are an owner.
You're an owner, but you by way of invest.
You're still an owner. You're still an owner.
You didn't start the business. That's what I'm saying, bro.
No, we said business ownership. We didn't say starting your own business.
Oh, my fault.
We said business ownership.
I'm looking at it from an investor stand. I'm looking at it in terms of an entrepreneurial standpoint.
No. So 9 to 5 people have ownership because they have a 401k, and
they own their 401k.
So that's the same concept.
To be honest, it is
same concept.
From what I'm speaking,
but
of,
it's also,
that's why I said no.
Absolutely.
But it's also there's also a limiter on it.
It is.
Because the company determines how much you get versus how much you don't get.
Matching and
versus
non-matching and
with
all
an
that.
investment,
that's the
you
contract
determine
between
how
you and the
much you
company
want to
doing
put
it.
in.
What up? Yeah.
It's like business ownership,
Versus investments, you determine what you're putting in.
You know,
correct.
The company don't get to tell you what, and that's there's a big
that's
difference.
At the same
Own
time,
account,
if we're talking about 401ks, and we can get real specific,
All right,
and
let's
so
not talk over each other.
I mean, if we're talking about 401ks, we can get real specific in terms of
I wasn't trying to go
being
there,
able to control what you get in. You can. They tell you. They tell you. Yeah, I'm just letting
and
you know.
I wasn't trying to derail it to a situation of stocks. I'm just saying, like I said, I wanted to bring different.
It was
branches.
a valid point though that you made.
Correct, you know,
it was a very valid
you know?
point that you made because again, just because you work a salary don't mean that you can't have equity in some other shit.
Absolutely.
And
that's what I'm saying.
And we're going to stand on that.
That's what I'm saying.
And
That's
we're
what I'm
going to
saying.
go play some more music because we still got bills to pay.
Damn.
So at the end of the day, Lump, take us out. But listen, start your own shit. Get ownership in something. I don't care what it is. And I stand on that.
And check in and we'll shout out your ownership, entrepreneurs. Y'all tap in and let us know.
Tap in with us.
Calibosi, Sanjay, young wings, picture one, can you feel my pain? Nights and days I've worked for this. Many times I feel like cry, but still my faith. Never make me lose my way, I'ma pray. But as I start being off the east, spoke of your system business, cause all me see a crop in a barrel. Don't know no one enemies. Them not gonna live to see the worst away. Just know say still, all my sacrifice not go so still. To them no know ya, know ya. They don't know my pain. Know where I'ma grow ya. Feel my pain. Nights and days I've worked for this. Many times I feel like cry, but still my faith. Never make me lose my way, I'ma pray. Born as I start green up the east. Everybody have dreams, thoughts, some I believe fast. Temptations in this time. Them with your energy, yo. The seat, yo. Third eye have to load up. Grow rough, you know it go. Now follow them with them ego. Jana hide my talent now. Oh, can you feel my pain? My pain. And days I work for this. Many times I feel like cry, but still my faith.
All right, we back, y'all. We back. Sorry about that little intermission. So, what we gonna do is we gonna get into some poetry. Is that what we doing?
Yeah. I got something.
All right, so we gonna get into that. G-Man, Bird, and maybe DA, because I don't know, he acting scared.
Nah, I ain't scared.
He acting scared on the poetry tip right now. So he gonna get into something. So listen, this is what we gonna do. I'm gonna let G-Man. I think the topic is gonna be what? Love.
I'm gonna do a love piece.
All right, he gonna do a love piece.
My anniversary was on Friday.
What was that? Valentine's Day was just passed. So okay, love piece it is.
Because Valentine's Day was last Sunday.
I did the Black History piece already.
Yeah. All right. So that's what's gonna happen.
So what's gonna happen? What's love got to do with it?
Tate, what's up, baby?
Listen, I can't even hold you. You just threw me off with the Tina Turner. Listen,
I ain't gonna hold you like just a pre-discussion before we had. I was listening to Payroll Giovanni. He's a rapper out of Detroit. And
shout out Detroit. Shout out Payroll.
D-Town.
And he got a song called "What's the Plug?" And hopefully we can have a side discussion after these poems.
We can
love. It's just that he got a song called "What's the Plug?" and the hook is like, "What's love got to do with it? Got to do with it." It was like, and effectively it's talking about if you ain't making no money, what the hell does love got to do with it? You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like it's a realistic aspect of things, but it's a realistic look at relationships, particularly like committed relationships and marriage, because people got roles and responsibilities within that. And I just thought that was an interesting hook, but back to the romanticism. I want to hear what Gary got to say with regard to love, and I want to hear what Bird got to say on that conversation, because he goes off the top. You know what I'm saying? Everything he says comes off the mental and goes to your ears, and you just got to take it as it comes. You feel me? And so I ain't gonna say nothing else, but hey,
this dude
I'm fucking with y'all boys right now. Let's hear these poetic thoughts.
Hey, yeah, y'all just might get the snapping right now. Y'all might want to get the snapping. Y'all missed it earlier. G-Man had the fire joint. Who was that from the movie?
It was inspired by Judas and the Black Messiah.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna have a recording. I'm gonna put the link in Facebook so y'all can go listen to this whole podcast. So remember, we are on Spreaker, we are on Google Podcasts, and then the other one is iHeart-Radio. So make sure B-SideRadio show. So y'all check us out. But I'm gonna put the link in Facebook so y'all can check out this whole entire recording. So go ahead, G-Man. I ain't want to take too much time. I gotta hit this peep out, both of y'all. Let's go.
All right, listen. I'm gonna just put this. I'm gonna put this disclaimer out there that this is actually an intimate piece that I wrote for my wife in advance of everything. I was actually kind of in a space of reflection. I'm transitioning in my life. I mentioned earlier I got 2 kids in college, 1 kid in middle school, and my wife and I actually experiencing more and more free time, and so it gives me an opportunity to. Listen, I never stopped watching her when she was asleep, and not to sound like kind of a little stalker, but I would look at my wife, when she was asleep and peaceful and not fussing and be like, man, I got lucky, bro. Like, I got lucky. I came up.
The fact that he threw it not fussing.
Not fussing, yeah, that's
because those moments feel different. But I'm gonna say like, so this piece is actually called "I Love." And I will tell you guys this: when my wife and I got together, we had this thing. It was our little language where we used to ask each other, "Do you love me?" And I would say yes, and she would say, "How much?" And I would say, "With all my heart." And she would say, "For how long?" And I would say, "Forever." Right. So every time she gets mad at me, I always say yes with all my heart and forever. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
So it's that constant reminder of what I'm bringing her back to. Like, I know you hot, but the answers are still yes with all my heart and forever.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
See, we already started. We already started.
Listen,
let's get into it.
Let's go.
Wise words to a young bull trying to fall in love. So here this is called "I Love," right? A retrospection. I love that you continue to love me as I maneuver through life and learn these lessons. I love that every time I look at you, you resemble God's greatest blessing. To me, because when you look at me, you see through all the stressing. Even though we both are learning how to appreciate God's blessings. I love that I have no shame in getting on my knees for you. I love that I know you love me too. So I'll always beg you to stay. And on those days when I want to go to war and you want to live in peace, or vice versa, and I jump up and decide to run these streets, I love that when we collaborate, our territory just continues to increase. Like Akhenaten and Nefertiti. I love that it no longer matters if I'm wrong or right. I love that I can guarantee whether we're together or apart, it's a sure bet that you'll still hold my heart. As I maneuver through life and learn these lessons, I love that after 21 years, I look at you and you still resemble God's greatest blessing to me.
Yo, nice. DA, what you think about that one?
Man, I thought that was beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Speechless. Yeah,
I think that's beautiful.
Speechless,
but at the same time, like, you gotta appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't never been married to someone for 20. I ain't never been married. So the thought of being married to someone for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Like 20 years. Like 20 years. That's a long time.
See how you put the year?
Yeah, that's a long time. And I mean that because everybody that's listening, and that's with us right now, understands that, you know, people change over the course of 20 years. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Looks fade over the course of 20 years. Mm-hmm. You know,
not my wife's.
Word up.
You know,
I'm trying to stay married.
You know, and but just things. Say that. You know, but just, you know, and so 20 years is 20 years of constantly keeping that fuel of attraction burning.
Oh yeah.
You know, and sometimes, you know, both sides, both men and women, we have off days. Oh, yeah. And sometimes we might have off months. Yeah. And then if we're being honest with ourselves, we might have off years. Yeah. You know, and if when you're able to keep that fuel of attraction burning over the course of 20 years, that's a constant, and as I would envision it, and I hope you married brothers would chime in really on this next point I'm about to make, is a state of constant renewal and reassessment. How do I keep this thing going?
You sound like a business owner.
Yeah.
How do I keep this thing going?
Yeah, because, you know,
just to plug the last segment.
It's how do I keep this thing going? How do I keep this thing going? Especially if it means something to you when you got kids. You know, you had the moment of birth that y'all shared together.
Yeah,
you know, and then you had the cuckooing and the crying in the middle of the night when the baby was awake. You know what I'm saying? And then you had the stress and anxiety of sending them off to school and picking the right school. In the midst of that, you still had the work complications. You know what I'm saying? Because these are things that can affect a man's confidence. These are things that can also affect a woman's perspective on what's really going on in terms of the direction of the family. And so I'm looking at it from a man's standpoint, that for Gary to navigate it to 20 years, there's a lot of things he did right, even when he did things wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, and so it's like, and I'm looking at it from my, you know, as a son that looked at my parents' my mom and dad when they were married before my mom passed away, and I look at it like, you know, and I remember just as a child. Now I'm looking back with grown eyes, and I'm like, damn, dog, like shit, y'all had a lot of exits.
Yeah. Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Correct. There was a lot of times y'all could have each one of y'all could have said, "I'm a bail, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna quit."
Get out that pocket.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then you got to go back to it, and I don't know if it's I don't know. It got to be love, right? When you're patient with somebody enough to say, you know what, I'm a tough it out through this tough time right now, because I know the good times gonna come right after this, and so it got to be love. Because if it ain't love, why do you have that much patience?
And then and you said chime in. for me, it ain't been that long, 3 years. I'm gonna use this acronym. Team.
Together, everyone achieves more.
Exactly. That's it. That's at the end of the day, it's a whole lot more meaning than just those words within that acronym. But it means more, and I think when you analyze it and look at this perspective of it, it comes to the forefront of everything on what makes sense and why you did it at the end of the day. So, but Bird, we want to hear what we got to hear that fire. That you got it, that you finna bless us with real quick.
Listen, don't feel no need to like come behind the love topic, bro.
Oh yeah,
this is all like just whatever's on your souls. Put that out there. But correct me if I'm wrong. Bird usually goes with the flow.
Yeah, so
for the most part. Okay.
I first want to touch on the fact of the relationship and the 20 years, 17 married, 3 before marriage, which it took to get to marriage. You got to sit down and you got to look at not only the good days and the bad days and the reflection over the years of what may have changed, but you got to understand that over time, men, and I mean real men that have overcome being a boy, and that takes a man, because it's still men that's in boy stages right now, and you're talking to a man who still has some stages to overcome in his boyish ways. But I say that to say that when you're in a relationship with a woman as you have been, and excuse my French, but from my brother, I'm speaking on my brother and sister, you have seen this woman naked. The title of my poem is that, Let Me See You Naked. It's off the top of the dome. It's something in which I just created while I was hearing certain things, and I'm going to let it spit. Let me see you naked. She says, what you mean, with my clothes off? And he says, no, let me see you naked without anything, meaning no money, meaning no clothes, meaning no feelings, no one to hold you, no one to touch you, no one that you trust. Let me see you naked. She let me see her naked, and I embraced her. Even though I embraced her along the way, I made a mistake with her. As I saw her naked, I left some of my clothes on. Those boyish ways in which I left on me were the clothes in which, sad to say, dealt with certain insecurities. But the woman in which I just told naked, I told her to do it because I commanded and demanded what I would give to her, which was security. But I'm trying to give so much security, but I'm still clothed with insecurities. So over time, this woman looks back at me, and I'm wondering, why is she looking at me? But she's looking at me because I'm still clothed in the boy and who I used to be. So now as I'm taking off my clothes, first it was my shirt, and that was the I'm sorry. Then it was my tank top, then that was the I'm sorry. Then it was my pants, then that was the I'm sorry. Then it was my boxers, then that was the I'm sorry. Then it was my socks, then that was the I'm sorry. Then it became me totally naked with no more sorries left. But I had to apologize one more time for what? For the theft. See, I took her clothes first, which was a part of her heart. But I did it without even asking, wait, are we both in the same position in which we can start to share these emotions, feelings, and trust issues in which we both bury? Damn. 20 years, 17 and 3. Shout out to Tia and Gary. So as I sit down and I compose certain things in which I like to think, I have to remember that one day it was me who was on that edge. I mean, the brink, really about to break. But as I looked to my left and my right, she was right there with both arms. I took hands, no mistake. I said, God damn, we both naked. She said yes, but only by God's grace. Because it was times where you wanted to be far away, but I couldn't let you have no space. Because I knew what you would do if you was alone. Certain things that I can't even put in this poem. But if you really want to talk about it, I will. I'm talking about nights where you couldn't sleep, so you had to pop a pill. But we don't really want to talk about drill sessions. I'm talking about real live things that could have dealt with certain things that involve weapons. But why is your life so deep? Because I'm naked now.
and I still can't sleep. See, when I'm next to this woman, her clothes annoy me. When I'm next to this woman, it's like I'm just so glad that this woman, she's like a job. I'm just glad she employed me. Do you understand what safety comes with the connections of this blessing? Do you understand that with this woman, I've learned more than life lessons? Do you understand that this woman, she said, listen, all your life you've been playing checkers. It's time to chessing. It's time to chessing. So she taught me certain things. She said, look, you a king and it's a queen on this board, but as you travel and go through certain things, you have to understand that me and you gotta be on the same accord. I said, baby, you right. You right. And there's certain things that I did that I didn't get right. But she said, baby, you gotta understand that that's life. And in this life, as long as you wrong, I'm your right. Oh, shit. I didn't understand in the beginning how deep the love was. I really had to fuck up 10 times to understand how deep the love was, because she could have left on the first fuck up, but she didn't. She could have left on the second one, but she didn't. Each time I fucked up, I realized that not only did she have it in her to invest in me, but together, team, that's what you said, we not quitting. See, it's like Scotty without Pippen. Who's that? You know what I mean? Who's that? Who's that? I'm repping not only for the love, but for the hate too. For the things that me and you both had to get through. I'm talking about nights where you took the key and didn't want to let me in, but you gotta understand. And I'm gonna end it with this. You can't even spell saint without sin.
That's my dog Bird, man. That's my dog Bird, man. I just want y'all to just sit on that.
Hey, we can end this right now. Like
Facebook Live, what that feel like?
Hey, we can end this right.
Let me say.
Podcasting, what that feel like?
Hold on. Let me say this.
What that feel like?
Let me say this,
minute, bro.
Let me say this.
Wait a minute. And he got up and just walked off. Like,
yeah, I just hope y'all heard them close the door.
Yeah, he just walked off.
Like, Randy Watson.
He's not here right now.
Randy Watson, ladies and gentlemen. Sexual chocolate.
Yes, they left the building.
Sexual chocolate.
My man.
Listen, man.
Bird.
I ain't gonna hold you. Listen,
Wow.
I'm speechless on that, John.
Wow.
And what I tell you right now is, look, I'm ready for another one just because I feel like my piece now has to be stepped up.
Okay.
My piece now has to be stepped up.
Hey, iron sharpens iron.
Let's
that's
go.
That's what he just said.
That was a one-on-one of all epic proportions.
Yeah, and
that brother just put it out there, bro.
Yeah, we got it live. We got to record it. And listen, boy, y'all going to have to come back for this one. If y'all missed it, listen, it was phenomenal. Bird, hey, appreciate you for that one, Gary. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate you laying the foundation for this man to come behind.
Oh my God!
And you know,
oh my God!
Facebook Live. Y'all wanted to go like that. Y'all want Gary to go first and Bird to go second. Like talk to us.
You ain't been up.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I am not going to be the opening act every time. I got power in these words. Like,
what do the people want?
I got power in these words.
Hey, listen, don't do that. Listen, what we
fucking around?
Hey, what we gonna do? Listen, I really enjoyed both pieces. Hey, I enjoyed your piece as well.
We got more to do though.
We got more to do, but we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna do one more in regards to what we got, another topic.
Listen, let it be a surprise.
All right, we're in a surprise, so we're gonna come back, pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
Young nigga with a big pistol. Hey, young nigga with a big pistol. Huh? Okay. Yeah. Hey. Young nigga with a big pistol in a trap house with a bell on me. Selling pedigree, but ain't dog food. Got fish get under my nails, homie. Gotta move in silence, cause bitch niggas wanna tell on me. Niggas say you gon' try me, but somebody better tell her, homie. A young nigga with a big pistol. Yeah. Young nigga with a big pistol. Yeah. I'm a young nigga with a big pistol. Young nigga with a big pistol. Somebody better tell her,
At a young age, nigga, make it move. Cousin showed me how to work a tool. Dude showed me how to cut the food. Doubled up with my profit too. Snake showed me how to jump over. Straight drop and lock it too. Bad bitches coming by the two. Won't be city fruit. Understand what this money do. Yo, main man, he'll punish you. Smiling faces turn to dying faces. Bag chasing, yeah, I do it daily. Wish I would let a nigga play me. On site, glizzy activated. Headshot, bullet penetrated. Fuck around, get deactivated. Curl dripping like he out the 80s. Trap banging line going crazy. Set say he just birthed the baby. Bag heavy, do nothing basic. Glock 30 don't come with safety. What that mean? Don't try to play me. Glock 30s don't come with safety. What that mean? Don't try to play me. 30.
Young nigga with a big pistol in the trap house with a bell on me. Selling pedigree but ain't dog food. Got fish get under my nails, homie. Gotta move in silence cause bitch niggas wanna tell on me. Niggas say he gon' try me, but somebody better tell her, homie. I'm a young nigga with a big pistol. Yeah. Young nigga with a big pistol. Yeah. I'm a young nigga with a big pistol. Yeah. Young nigga with a big pistol. Somebody better tell her, homie. Niggas know how I'm rockin'. Play with me, I'ma pop that bitch. Young nigga, keep it silent. If you get caught up, don't never snitch. Callin' players great, pop a bitch. I know you haters wanna stop this. Nah, but you can't come get your bitch. Ain't got time for that messy shit. I'm hustling hard, tryna get rich. Situation getting sticky. Can't let the feds come get me. So I move the pack so swiftly. In the street selling G units, got the grams going for 50. She treat the dick just like a stamp. All she wanna do is lick it. Money on my mind, it's all I'm trying to get. I can read between the lines, I know you kinda fit. Cute face, thick thighs, you my kinda chick. I can see the runner's mind on my Scarface shit. Young nigga with a big pistol in the trap house with a bell on me. Selling pedigree but ain't dog food. Got fish get under my nails, homie. Gotta move in silence cause bitch niggas wanna tell on me. Niggas say he gon' try me, but somebody better tell her, homie. I'm a young nigga with a big pistol. Yeah. Young nigga with a big pistol. Yeah. I'm a young nigga with a big pistol. Yeah. Young nigga with a big pistol. Somebody better tell her, homie. YOUNGVALE. Nigga. Look. Hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, so we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. Nigga, nah. That is not a fun discussion. It ain't about no fun, so nigga, fuck it. I get my cake, I feel great. She can tell that I'm paid. She shake her ass in my face. I can tell that it's fake. Now she's speaking about freaking, trying to run some game. Saying if I trick, she treating, trying to play me like a lame. She say pay or pay her no mind. So I pay no mind, she let me bone. Now she hit my phone and I just hit decline. She trying to date, well she gotta wait. Cause I be on my grind, it's plenty cake that I gotta make. So I ain't got the time. Look what it do is what I make it do. And you just making do. We heard it's a glass roof, so now my niggas breaking through. Look, we out here chasing money, trying to catch up to the loot. The money moves, so I ain't got no time to wait around on you. Hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. Nigga, you stop it. It ain't about no cash, so we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. Nigga, nah. That is not a fun discussion. It ain't about no fun, so nigga, fuck it. Hey. I heard it cost to be the boss. Well, shit, I had to pay the price. With the way you see me living, you gon' think I paid it twice. What's that call a nigga Bow Wow? Cause I'm ballin' like Mike, but shit, I'm ballin' like a bitch. So you could call me what you like. Man, the shit you niggas do got me so confused. Y'all be tricking with these bitches, but that's not the way we move. While you caking with your boo, I got paper to pursue. I hit the mall and buy it all until it ain't shit in there new. If being fly's the
motive. You should notice that I flew a ball fierce. I'm Paul Pierce. I tried to told you I'm the truth. I got clout without a doubt. I'm the best up in the booth. They say the proof is in the pudding. Well, look. Hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. Nigga, you should stop it. It ain't about no cash, and we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. Nigga, that is not up for discussion. It ain't about no fun, so nigga, fuck it. Hey. Oh, you ballin'? Well, that's what you call it, cause you bought a drop. Fuck you thinking? All this cash I'm bringing shit, I buy a watch. No, we not. No, we fucking not. We are not the same. I'm that dude. Look, I make the rules. You just play the game. For y'all boys to get the least, it's funny, cause y'all do the most. I just killed the parking lot, and then I pulled off in the ghost. Dog, I'm finding it hard out the boast. They get some bread, and I'm getting a loaf. Man, I'm hotter than chimney smoke. Money as long as infinity go. Hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. I said hold up, wait. If it ain't about no money, get the fuck up out my face. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. Nigga, you should stop it. It ain't about no cash, so we can't talk about that topic. I'm like, no. That is not up for discussion. It ain't about no fun, so nigga, fuck it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Yo. We are back, folks. Welcome. Listen, if you're watching on live, I appreciate you guys. Again, we are every Sunday, Eastern Standard Time. We have this show. Make sure, if you're listening live, go share this. Again, you can catch us on Spreaker. You can catch on Google Podcasts and also iHeart-Radio under B-SideRadio. So, listen, we got another subject we're going to talk about, and it's essentially why has financial education being taken out of school or have been taken out of schools. Now, G-Man going to lead us in with the kind of little tidbits, what states they have it, what states don't have it, and then we're going to kind of just give y'all a little tidbit on what we think about it. So, G-Man, lead us in.
So, listen, we're kind of piggybacking off of an article that was published by the National Debt Relief. It was on their website, right? And as Lump already mentioned, right, the main topic or the main focus is why is financial education no longer part of the curriculum, right? So here's the reality, right? And I'm gonna give y'all the short of a very long story, which is right now there are only 17 states that currently require high school students to take a personal finance course before they graduate. Okay? 17 states. 17 states. This is in a country where the average household debt is $137,000. Right? So the real question is, how is it possible that children stand a chance of having any sort of secure financial future if we're not teaching them personal finance at a very early age, right? Now, here's one really good thing about the article, because it kind of chimed in on something that I feel like is extremely important to note when we have this conversation. And so before I hand it off, I want to make sure that I highlight this point, right? The article says, when the school fails to teach financial literacy, the responsibility falls to the parents. However, parents are often reluctant to talk to their children about their finances, especially if they have debt or haven't always made the best financial decisions. We all know that when you don't have a strong understanding of something, you're very skeptical about having a conversation. Listen, here's the reality. We talked earlier about high salary versus business ownership. My mother worked her way up in a company. She worked for the same company for more than 30 years. She worked her way up in that company from someone who was just cleaning rooms to being a director that handled case management for a lot of the people within the inner city communities, as well as those who are mentally challenged or have disabilities, right? And trying to help those people become self-sufficient. But as much as my mother worked her way up, earned a degree, and got a position, the reality is my mother didn't really have a conversation with me about finances from that standpoint. And I don't know if it was because she didn't know she should. I didn't know if it was because she didn't know how to. I don't know if it was because she just wasn't good at it. So how can I pass on, right, bad information to my son? At the end of the day, here's what I do know, right? I do know that there is an extremely important piece of education that we're ignoring, right? We're not having the right conversations with our kids. I made a promise to my kids that if they got to a point where they made it into school, and they had performed well, and they had shown me that they were dedicated to their education, I would never let them take out a loan. Right? I am currently paying $30,000 a year for my daughter to go to her institution of higher learning, which I'm not going to start naming specifics. My son was fortunate enough, we were blessed enough that we poured into him. He earned a 4-year scholarship. That was a blessing of epic proportions. Now, here's the reality, right? The reality is that I talk to my kids about finances. I talk to my kids about the benefit of owning something. I talk to my kids about the fact that you could be a worker, but if you're going to be a worker, if you don't find a way to educate yourself on something and become an owner, you will always be a worker, right? I've talked to my kids about, listen, they both have credit cards, right? I pay the credit card bills. My wife and I pay the credit card bills. Because at the end of the day, if I'm relying on them to pay it, they're going to be in a worse situation than I was in. And I was in a bad situation. It was pretty bad, right? Listen, the federal government may never get their money back from me. Like, real talk, when it comes to these loans.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the reality is, one of the greatest things that I thought that had came about was Obama saying, listen, we got these refinance programs, income contingent plans, income-based plans, where if you're not making enough money to pay us back, then you don't have to pay us back. And that's some good stuff that's done by the federal government. But the reality is, all of these are reactive things. These are all reactive things. We're reacting to people being in a bad position. We're reacting to people being in debt that they can't overcome. But at what point in time are we going to go back to being proactive, right? The reality is, we talked about this earlier with the business ownership conversation. At one point in time, America was the greatest place in the world because people could start their own businesses. Small businesses could thrive in America. And at that point in time, we were having more conversations about financial literacy because to own a business, you got to have some measure of financial literacy, right? Here's what happened. In my opinion, the more we had minority businesses popping up out of everywhere, right, you started seeing less and less conversations about how to keep those businesses alive, how to fund these businesses. Right. I'm not going to make this a complete race conversation. One of y'all might. I'm not. But what I am going to say is, listen, there's a deficiency. Here's what we can say. Statistically speaking, there's a deficiency that's putting our children at a disadvantage in a country where the average household is in debt by more than $100,000. How is it on any level equitable, justifiable, or right that we're not teaching these kids how to overcome these obstacles when we see them as being a realistic obstacle? So that's what I'm asking y'all. I'm asking y'all, listen, chime in on this whole financial education thing. So there's a couple of key points that I'm hoping that y'all hit. First is this. Should it be a requirement that all states make students take financial literacy courses before they graduate high school? Mm-hmm. Right? 2, what should that program entail? Just give me one detail. Don't give me the whole curriculum, but give me one thing that we can't overlook in that financial education program.
I'll go first.
Was that?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's all the key points.
So, those are the 2 main points.
So
outside of that, kind of touch on it.
So yes, they should teach it, but there are a few key points why they won't. Bottom line. When it comes to credit card companies,
when we say who is they? Who was they? Who is they?
The powers that be.
Who are they? So the crowd understands.
Credit card companies, to say the least, credit card companies. We'll say that.
Okay, so from your position, mm-hmm. the banks and the lenders,
yes,
have that much of an impact on curriculum in the school system.
No, the state does. At the end of the day. The state made these decisions.
I got you.
Yeah.
So because I want to make sure that we draw the connections for the audience.
Correct.
So what you're saying is that financial institutions that really drive these lending programs and that actually house our money and everything else, they have an influence over the state, and then the state who then determines what the curriculum should look like for each county, right? And now what you're saying is that influence is great enough that they'll keep that financial literacy program away.
Yes, reason being is, and that's just my thought process on it, because the more financial literate I can keep you, what does that do? That you don't have the resources, you don't have the mental capacity. Well, you do, but you don't have the education on, I should say. You don't have the education to kind of understand how to balance a paycheck, how to how credit works, all these little small things that kind of help you. Because if we keep you down, we don't keep you understanding these things. Guess what? We get more money from you.
So the goal is to keep the poor.
Basically, you understand? That's kind of the whole goal. And then
the state wants the poor to be poor because you're saying because of credit card companies.
No.
Who's pushing the state to push these policies?
This is just my theory behind it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So these credit card companies hypothetically have these conversations. Hey, listen, we take it out of the school because this article states that if we teach it, they become better financially with their money. That's what this article said.
Right.
You understand? We teach it,
and banks make more money off of people abusing credit cards,
correct,
and having and owing that kind of debt.
Having a lack of knowledge of the credit. Because if I don't understand how credit cards work, paying it on time, paying it 15 days before to kind of increase my limit and my credit, then all right, well that's the whole concept.
Not only that, low credit scores equate to high interest and everything.
Exactly. So more money for them. So there's car loans, everything. So it doesn't matter. So they should, but I don't think they won't, to be honest, because we got more and more and more away from it as the years.
Okay, but let's build the program then. So when you say that they should, but they won't, if they did,
what it look like?
What's one major component? Just give me one major component that has to be included in this financial literacy program.
Just how credit cards work. The statements, when it comes out, when you should pay it, if you don't pay it, how it will affect you. Just learning the ins and outs when it comes to this credit card. So that's just
interest rate stuff like
interest
that.
rate, just when you should buy, when you shouldn't buy, things of that nature, and just give a outline on if you have an interest rate of, let's say 25% or something like that on a car loan. Yeah, I know that's ridiculous, but I'm just painting a picture what it will look like if you paying that versus you getting a 1% APR or interest rate on something, what that will look like over time, so they can see the big number at the end of the day.
And not just that, right? That also lends us into to being able to tell people what you should put on a credit card.
Correct, exactly.
Right? Like you can go buy a pack of gum for 25 cents on a credit card
and pay it off. Yeah.
And you'll pay $20 for that pack of gum if you continue to pay the minimum payment over a period of time. Right? You just bought a pack of gum for $20. That's what you really did.
I love it. I love it. So so that's my 2 cents on that. So
I don't know. I don't think it's the credit card companies per se. I think it's actually more so all big business, right? Financial literacy is akin to political literacy, right? Once people know how things are supposed to run and how things are supposed to go, then it's more than just simply credit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's also the decisions people make in terms of the purchasing and
what you do with your money,
and because they're using that credit to consume something.
Absolutely.
And so I think that it's if there's anybody that's interested in it, interested in not having it, the people knowledgeable, would be anybody that's in a business that's dependent on high consumption.
Correct.
Now we'd have to literally go into the campaign dollars to figure out who these companies are.
Of course,
both at the federal
but I just
level.
threw something out there.
Of course. Like at the federal level and at the local level, because because it's all dependent on who the top employers in that state and in that region. Like let's say we over here in like Central Florida, one of the top employers, and I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. Is that one of the top employers is Disney World. They employ a good chunk of people that live out here in Central Florida, and by virtue the whole hospitality industry, and so And so that base industry probably has an impact on it. But we got to look at the reasons why some of the states that did pass it to 17, why they did. And that's because at the end of the day, when you have smart consumers, then you also come up with new programs to further incentivize smart consumers for being smart consumers. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if it's the credit card company per se, but I just would say just the overall nature of big business.
Correct.
And it could be the credit card company, but if I wanted to be more specific, I'd put the onus on banks because they get the bulk of all this interest money that's out there in terms of the mortgages that they give out, in terms of the line of credit, based on the homes that they have out there, and all the little small business credits because they give out a large chunk of the credit that's out there. Mm-hmm. So I would probably put it more squarely on like big banks. If they don't want something like that. Because at the end of the day, we got to think about the theory, the political theory and the political economy, right? We
have an idea, though.
And that is based on workers. Workers and consumers. Workers work, then you go home and consume. And you don't. And the idea is you don't want these workers to then become producers because that's competition. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I look at it from a political economic standpoint. That they want the workers to remain workers and then to transition as consumers when they're not working, but to be producers in and of themselves. That's not in their interest for them to be more smarter because then that means there's less.
Gotcha.
There's less things that you can pull over them.
Okay. G-Man?
Well, here's what I want. Here's what I would love for DA to kind of speak on too. And listen, and Bird, Lump, if y'all want to chime in, that's cool, right? One thing that I think is an integral piece of this conversation too becomes you talked about consumerism and spending power, right? And so here's what we know, and these are the facts that have been given to us. I haven't found anything that would dispute the accuracy of these facts, so I'm gonna go with it, right? So the lifespan of $1 in the Asian community, 28 days. Mm-hmm. The lifespan of $1 in the Jewish community, 19 days. The lifespan of $1 in the black community is supposedly 6 hours before we go outside of our own community to give our money away. So you get paid on Friday. Before the end of the day, you've already given your money to some other community, right? And so group economics is a big thing that we need to honestly talk about. That's a whole nother topic. That we'll touch on.
I mean, that kind of fits in with what we talk about. In terms,
but I think it's going to own.
It has its own though. But
it sounds like it's off on the other thing, but it kind of meet to this conversation in the sense that y'all we talking about financial literacy, and I was speaking to Bird about this earlier. Like the bigger thing that they need to be teaching in school is how to create wealth. How to create wealth, and the reason why I'm saying that is because, poor people are poor because they're in a trap. You know what I'm saying? Let's call it what it is. They're in a trap, and because you go into certain communities, you go into a lot of communities. Now, I'm not going to say certain communities. You go into a lot of communities, you're going to find more than a handful, more than a backload. More than a truckload, more than a shipload of people in that community that are working 2 jobs. Okay, so it's not about work ethic. It's not about work ethic. It's about because they're working hard.
I think for a long time we could say Black Americans have worked extremely hard.
Yeah, they work very hard.
Sometimes for free.
For free, right?
Back to slaves.
Of course.
Anyway,
and so when we're talking about that, it's not a question about working hard. It's about working hard to generate wealth. And we're in as we're recording this message. It's the year 2021, when there's an explosion of a lot of new things happening in the world right now, especially in the technology space. When we talk about blockchain and things like that, and so it's like my lesson focus on is like financial literacy is cool, but then it's like you need the money in your hand to really start to play the game that we're talking about.
Right.
So let me tap in on something. Okay, I've heard all 3 parts, and they've come up with a lot of points that we can definitely tap in on. But one thing, Roger Babson, he says that more people should learn to tell their dollars where to go instead of asking them where they went. Okay, now when you sit down and you listen to that, one thing that Gary spoke about as far as money being able to stay within a community. First things first, Financial education is very important. It's very important. First things first, we have to talk to a certain group here, all right, when we're talking about financial education in school systems, and if it's not in the school system, it falls back on the parent, because that parent that doesn't have any finances can't teach financial education to their child.
Which I was actually going to say, when we start talking about this financial literacy program and you talking about generating wealth, you know how expensive it would be to find somebody who's actually qualified to teach that, right? Listen, people are going to charge what they're worth, right? And so if you have stated explicit knowledge, and we have an example of you being successful in generating wealth, what is it going to take for you to bring that person in to actually teach wealth to people who have no knowledge of it at all?
Career day in schools, and the mentality. Just real quick. So the mentality in schools. When in career day, what do you see? You don't see business owners. You
see salaried employees.
Salaried employees. So and I'm going on another.
No, but it's a good.
It go back to what we were talking about earlier.
It's a great nugget.
So what you see visually is what you see. Oh, I want a police officer. I want to be a nurse. You don't see. Oh, I want to be an investor. I want to be a business owner. I want to own banks. You don't see that.
And here's
you understand? And what do kids say when they want to grow up? Oh, I want to be.
And here's the shameless plug. The book I'm working on right now is a children's book series called "What Do I Want When I Grow Up?"
Hey.
And the reality is, too often, and listen, I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who was a teacher, who was a school administrator, who is still an organizational leadership person in an educational environment. And so what I can tell you is that in my interactions with kids, in my own and other kids, as a coach for Nike, as a coach for different school systems, here's what I know. Far too often, especially in minority communities, we see people saying, I want to be an athlete. I want to be, they all want to be employees.
Rappers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They all want to be employees.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so the reality is, the purpose why my wife and I decided that this was a necessity was because too often when we have that conversation, not only do kids not know about these other careers, right? They have no knowledge of them because they have no exposure to them, right? But not just that, they don't even know how to get there. And so one of the things that we're including in our children's book series, and just so y'all know, I've already copyrighted this. Don't steal my shit. I'm sensitive about my shit. But, you know...
He copyrighted, so you try to steal it, you getting sued.
I'm coming for the dollars. I'm going to generate wealth off your ass. But what I will say is this. One thing that we're including is called a roadmap to success in the back of the book. So if that book is about becoming a chef, then we're going to highlight that path because, as Bird said before, not everything is for everyone. So if I decide that I want to be a chef, maybe I need to understand that the road to becoming a chef is not necessarily going to a 4-year institution that teaches me about English, math, or whatever else, but it may be something where it's a specialty school. It may be something where you have to understand that you have to be a tradesman, right? You have to learn from someone else. You have to become a sous chef before you can do anything else, right? You may have to wash dishes before you can become anything else. If I want to be a fashion designer, how do I do that? What's the requirements? Most of these kids have no idea. My daughter, shout out to my daughter, right? Jada Harrington. She's got her own she's making her own natural care products, lip balm, things like that. That's just something that she just decided to do. She's in college. She does hair, right? She's a braider, licensed, certified by the state, but then she's also creating hair products. So unintentionally, right? To be honest with you, I can't take all the credit for that. My daughter just decided she wanted to do something, and we supported her in it. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, we're publishing the book series. It's going to be When I Grow Up. Y'all buy it when it come out. Make sure your kids read it. But that's just to plug in on exactly what you guys are saying. I just want to say I stand on that. I represent what y'all are saying. Y'all are 100% on point with this, man. But go ahead, Bird.
No, definitely. And I respect that. And one thing that I want to make sure that we come to agreement on, or at least I make a point on, is that financial education is one thing. What you just spoke about is what Gary is speaking about now, which is creating wealth. Okay? Financial education takes finances. And financial education is teaching you what to do with finances. So when you're educating someone in this field,
credit, for example, right? That's only one aspect of a finance.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when you sit down and you look at certain things, for example, learning how to get a house, that can be within finance. So there's a lot of things that you can put under that financial umbrella in order for you to expand. But when it comes down to it, the reason why it isn't being taught is because of, like we said, the numbers in which we're seeing right now. The $130,000 debt, let me tell you something about debt. You never go broke with it, okay? You never go broke with it. If each household in America is owing $100,000, the average household in America, you owe $130,000. What is that telling you? That everybody is doing some of the same damn things wrong. That's what that's telling you, brother. And I don't want to put anybody down, like Dave would say, condemning someone. But that means that we haven't learned certain aspects in this financial world in order for us to be out of debt. So that means that my curriculum, when I was growing up, I asked Gary, I said, what was something that we could say that was at least similar to financial education? And we mentioned economics. From Gary's perspective, he said that was a elective where he was. You understand what I'm saying?
Science. Economics or social science. Yeah.
Economics or social science. Now, we have to sit down and we have to look at economics is cool. How many people are interested in economics, even though it's right there as an elective? How many people take it?
Well, and listen, and here's the reality. When I took it, the depth of what it talked about was nowhere near what we needed to be learning, right?
Surface.
The curriculum of what it was not about generating wealth. It was not about financial literacy. It was not about managing debt, credit cards. It's not about managing a paycheck. It was just literally about the
market
economics from a governmental standpoint, right? It was a government standpoint, right?
Their numbers.
Those numbers, the big numbers that I never at that age. Dude, I never intended to see that, right? At the same time, it was my economics class in which my high school guidance counselor came in to the room, which was a predominantly black school, right? Minorities, right? Shout out to my Hispanic brothers and sisters, Asian brothers and sisters, everybody, right? But we had a mixture of everybody, but it was definitely a low income area. And the guidance counselor came in and said, "Listen, not all of you will go to college."
Absolutely.
If you look to your left and you look to your right, out of the three of you, right, you're lucky if one of you makes it to college. You're lucky if one of you makes it to college.
Tough statement.
What made me go to college was that statement. It was that statement alone.
That gave you motivation and drive.
Because I was like, the hell you finna tell me what I can or can't do or what I am going to do and what I am going to accomplish. So I say that to say I'm not going to even give them credit for the economics class that I took.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving them that credit.
You know, one of the things that we got to be cognizant of, like you said, surface level. I mean, everything in high school, in elementary, middle school, the whole K through 12 is supposed to whet the appetite. You know what I'm saying? And so as far as should there financial literacy be taught in schools? Absolutely, because you need to whet the appetite. Because I took classes in civics that led to me then pursuing political science in undergrad, that led me pursuing law in grad school, and further specialized in tax. And so, that appetite would not have been wet, you know what I'm saying, unless I had came across that subject. You feel me?
But in other countries, that's not the case. Like let's say China, let's say any other countries, the education system is way deeper than the U.S. So kids are learning way more than they should, and maybe they're learning more financial. What you said, Germany?
Definitely Germany.
I don't know the depths. I don't know the depths, but I'm pretty sure they're learning way more financial stuff and just deeper stuff than in the U.S. The U.S. Education system is crap.
It can definitely get some improvement. You know what I'm saying? But understand,
but
let's be honest.
But that's me. I think he's saying that it's crap in comparison. He's comparing. He's just not saying that it's crap. He's comparing. You know what I mean? To the
I'm just saying, it's just like when we look at what's going on. When we talking about this educational system, because I remember when I was in undergrad, I volunteered with the YMCA. It was an organization. Yeah, I volunteered with the YMCA, and I was teaching young achievers. I was mentor for young achievers, and that is a lot of business courses. and that was like an after school program that was taught, and I helped teach kids about, these various things, and then we had speakers come in, and this is the elementary kids, and it's not like it's not impossible. It is possible, right? And it's because but the key group that you want to tackle is those kids in high school, right? Those middle school, high school, when they're about to start forming ideas about what they want to do when they get done with school. That's the group that you really want to get involved in, like, these topics, and that's why I'm really so more focused on. Not only is it financial literacy for financial literacy's sake, but we also got to talk about wealth generation. Yeah. How do we start a business? How do we beyond just getting an LLC and boom, you making some money? You know what I'm saying? No one ever talks about what happens in between. Correct. Because what happens in between is, developing a product, developing a service. You catch what I'm saying? Yeah. Developing a product, developing a service, having good customer service and support, being able to, read the market and make adjustments as you should. That's a whole business course that that grown adults take to go to school.
Good stuff, though, yeah.
And so I just want to just to paint that picture that in high school, what it would look like, it has to just merely wet the appetite. You know what I'm saying? It just has to wet the appetite. Kids got to learn off rip what assets are, off rip what liabilities are.
My baby girl's 5 years old, know what an asset and liability is right now.
Yeah, but it's sort of that's fine. But does she know? Does she know how to leverage that and turn that into?
She's fine. She's fine.
That's the point. And that's the point. And that's the point.
I get you.
That's the point. That's the point. That's the point.
Bro, I can't overload her. But
that's the point. The point is to wet the appetite.
Yeah.
The point is to wet the appetite.
No. My whole thing is she's a sponge. So everything I tell her, she gonna soak it up.
Absolutely.
So, let me chime in.
I just really want to emphasize because that's what they got science for.
Yeah.
Because there's kids that want to be doctors. That's what they got PE for. Yeah. The kids that want to get into physical something that's relying on physical education and stuff like that.
And I agree with you.
And like nutrition and therapy and things like that. And
I agree with you. I'll be honest with you. If some of my teachers were better, I might have been something different. To be honest with you. I ain't gonna lie to you. I saw ESPN Sports Science, and I was like, dude, if someone had ever told me that that's what science was, I'd have been like, dude, I want to do that, right? But here's what I will say, just to kind of chime in, right? Because I always want to make sure that at the end of the day, when we standing on something, we standing on facts too, right? So, right, the U.S. News and World Report put out a publication that talked about the top 10 countries. As far as most educated countries, as far as the quality of education and what people have achieved, right? The U.S. is number 6, right? And so I will say this. Canada was number 1. Japan was number 2. Israel was number 3. Korea was number 4. The U.K. is number 5. U.S. is 6. Australia was number 7. Number 8 was Finland. Number 9 was Norway. And 10 was Luxembourg. So here's what we know, right? The U.S. is in the top 6 as far as people actually achieving some measure of education. Right? As far as the quality of that education, that's a little bit more difficult to measure. But what we do know is this. If people are getting the education and still failing at financial literacy, then that means that there's just not enough, right? According to this report, 45.6% of American adults are considered educated. 45% of American adults are considered educated. But yet the majority of households still have more than $100,000 worth of debt.
It's like education and financial education.
It's
totally
two
different things.
What are we talking about? When you say education, what level? What we say? Financial education?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you could be a fucking scientist and still you
lack financial education.
Yeah,
right. That's what
you underwater in your house. And then they tell you that they're going to cut off the NASA program, and now you wondering how you're going to pay your mortgage. Like, you know what I'm saying? And here you go, you was a rocket scientist.
Let's not.
So I'm just saying, like, I'm just giving you the picture. I'm painting the picture.
Shout out to K. Scott on the drowning, because this dude is literally painting the bleakest picture ever. So what we're not going to do is lead the people like that, right? Here's what we are going to say. Dude, if we got control of this, right? Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, what's not taught in schools can be taught at home. So what I'm going to encourage everybody to do that's listening, if you within earshot distance of hearing what I'm saying to you people, sit down and have dinner with your kids. And when you're having dinner with your kids, talk to them about their day, talk to them about what they want to do in their future, and give them the best education you can. And if you ain't the best person to educate them, there's somebody in your network that probably can talk to them on some level to, as David would say, whet the appetite. Absolutely.
Right? And let me say this one more thing, because I know we're going to sign off soon, and that is, hey, my dad, he's an immigrant, you know what I'm saying? Haitian immigrant, came to the United States.
Stop, I say.
You know what I'm saying? Not Boulay. And when he came, his main message to me, my brother, and my sister is straight up. You feel me? You getting money? Is you getting money? Right? And then when you get money, then when we started getting money, when you gonna start getting money where people come to you? You see what I'm saying? And it's some of this conversation, it gotta be simply when we speaking to our kids, and I'm just talking about how my dad spoke to us, is gotta be about, yo, you trying to make money? I bet you making money. Great. Now you got some money in your pocket. You like how it feel. How you gonna make that happen more often than not?
Listen, so here's what we're gonna do, because it's time for us to kind of pay some more bills. So what I want everybody to do, if you're at home, if you're on Facebook Live, right, I want you to look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, teach your kids about this financial literacy and generating wealth, because if not, it's a perpetual cycle that we'll never get out of, and we'll consistently stay in debt. And I stand on that 10 toes down.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to wrap up and get out of here, folks. Until next time, again, 7 p.m. Eastern time on the dot. And then we're just going to make this thing happen with the same group. Again, 2 times. Shout out to my goddaughter. Happy birthday. She just chimed in.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. All that good stuff.
So listen, we'll give you the Stevie version if we had time.
Exactly. But until then, guys, we're going to catch y'all later. And then until our next little session. So I stand on that.
Blessings and safety. We stand on that.
We stand on that, and we out.
Calibosi, Sajay, Young Wings, Picture One.